treat when you hear that tune, because it's time for episode 667 of the RecPoker podcast. I'm your host, Jim Reid. I go by Bluffsterini in the home game and at RecPoker Jim on socials. And I have the best freaking job in the world talking poker with my friends every Monday night at 7:30 Eastern live on YouTube. Join us for free and you can win a prize just for showing up. Now, it is Christmas in February, folks. The WSOP schedule has dropped today. And just like every year, we are joined by Kevmath live in the booth to break down the schedule event by event. First, I have to say that we are proud to be brought to you by Running Aces, the official sponsor of the RecPoker podcast. Most of what we do here is free. We're a largely volunteer-based organization, so we really depend on support from our sponsors and from our premium members who take part in our training material and study opportunities for only $22 a month. And I want to shout out a couple of new premium members that joined recently. Ronan Podolsky, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Ronan, and longtime legend in the Minnesota poker scene, Umut Ozturk is a new premium member here at RecPoker. If you're a longtime listener, then you know all about Umut and his fantastic contributions to the poker scene in Minnesota and beyond. And if you want to find out more about him, you can check out the fantastic Suited Kings podcast interview where he was featured just last week. Thank you, Umut and Ronan. Your contributions to what we do here make a big difference. And if you're listening and you feel like you like what those guys are doing, I'd encourage you, please give us a try. You can get your first month of premium membership at RecPoker for only $5 by using the code RecPoker at checkout. Or, we love supporting food banks around here. So if you make a donation of any amount to your local food bank and send us the receipt, we'll happily send you your first month of RecPoker premium membership for free as a way of saying thanks for helping out your fellow humans. So I hope you do. Now, you get used to hearing my voice on Mondays because they let me host the show, but I'm only one man. It takes a crew to make all the magic happen around here. We call our leadership panel the RECing Crew. And if you want to learn more about me or the rest of the RECing Crew, you can go to rec.poker/crew or just listen up because we got a full house tonight. You're going to meet a few of them right here. Chris Jones, Lorianne Persinger, Joe Coolis, John Somsky, Rob Washam, our invisible producer, Rob Gardner, and the man, the myth, the legend, the RECing Crew member from several years now, Kevmath is in the house. Kevin, welcome back to the RecPoker podcast.
Well, it is an honor, as usual, to be on the Rec.Poker podcast with you, Jim, and the rest of the crew.
Well, we're spoiled to get you live here in the booth every year on the day that the schedule comes out to talk about it with you. We must be doing something right. We must be. Yes, I'm just going to take that. I love it. Kevin, you're one of my favorite people in the poker world. And you're one of these great success stories of someone who just sort of like started doing what they love and turned it into a job. And now you've got this fantastic role. You're like the information czar of all things WSOP. You're the person to talk to when it comes to questions about the series, the registration, the details on the tournaments, where to go, what to do. Are you tired already? Are you like already tired just thinking about what's in front of you?
In a sense, I am. I mean, because it's it is the biggest live schedule ever for the WSOP. 100 events, 100 live bracelet events this year. Of course, there will also be various online bracelet events that will be announced closer to the start of the WSOP on May 27th. But I mean, I'm in Las Vegas right now. We have the me and my team at the Global Poker Index and the Mob team. We're all coming into Vegas. We got the Global Poker Awards on Saturday, so it's kind of odd that they decided to announce the schedule today, like when I'm traveling. But I'm happy it's finally announced so that people won't have to ask me like when the schedule coming out. And people get upset. It's like they got plan for they got to make their plans for the summer, and now we can finally establish that for them.
There you go. I love it. And if you're watching along live, I am putting the link to the schedule in the chat here in YouTube, so you can go check that out yourself. We're going to be going through tournament by tournament and just adding some thoughts to each of the events in the series this year. But first, we want to just talk about a few sort of general items. So, Kevin, you've done this several years now. You are the boots on the ground. And if folks want to find out more details, like at Kevmath, is that still the best place to find you on Twitter and or X or whatever the hell you want to call that hellscape these days?
The hellscape. Let's call it hellscape. At Kevmath is my main account, and during the summer I do also do a lot of tweets from the @Kevmath Vegas account, which basically covers, it's just basically information about all the tournaments that are running during the summer in Las Vegas. I just basically tweet information. It's not like I'm answering questions on that account, but ask away on @Kevmath, and during the summer, when the WSP starts, I'll be answering questions on the @WSP account as well.
All right, fantastic. Now I know some of the panelists here have some questions. But I know we're also, if you're in the YouTube chat, I'd love for you to get your questions in there as well. If you have any questions for Kevin, please type them in, and we'll make sure that we get to them. We're going to have a bit of a long show tonight. We always do on this one, so buckle in, folks. We are going to give away a prize at the end, of course, as well. So there's going to be lots of fun stuff coming at the end of the show. So I want to kind of get behind the scenes a little bit with you, Kevin. So when you go down for these summer stints, you are, like I said, you're the boots on the ground. You're like Mr. Information when it comes to the series and everything that's going on there. There must be some pros and cons to that. Like it's cool to have such a great role. It's cool to be, so important to so many people when you're down there. But what are some of the negative elements of spending 8 weeks in a row in Las Vegas and just being like in the same 100 square meters the entire time? How does that wear on you now that you've done it a few years?
Yeah, it's definitely, the amount of time in Las Vegas is definitely a huge factor. And I usually feel like kind of burnt out. Like it's usually like right around before the main event starts. It's sort of like that week before, and then like the main event sort of kicks everything in the gear. It's like it's a whole new group of people coming in to play the main event or the various events after that. And I usually try my way between both the Paris and Horseshoe, seeing what's going on, answering questions, there's times when I'm doing like live customer support with, people like they're in line and they're like, they're asking me stuff, and it's like, it's basically my role. It's not like this will be my 9th year doing running the Twitter account for the WSOP. So it's not, it's I kind of know what's going to happen, and there's going to be stuff that's going to happen that I may not necessarily agree with, but I sort of have to support the WSOP's decision on how they do certain things.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's a very highly political position that you're in. I take that point. That's a good point. You're the public face of an organization like that. They're going to make you. They're going to hold your feet to the fire a little sometimes.
Yeah, there's definitely. And it's definitely you can't exactly fly off the handle. That's sort of. It's sort of like how I got the job in the first place. It was there was we won't name names, but there was a particular person that was sort of running the WSP account, and he was a high level executive there. And he would sometimes get a little, I guess snippy would be a good way to describe it. And I sort of realized that I'm like, I am in a sense the public face of the WSOP on Twitter. So I can't exactly say, you're a player X, you're an idiot, or you're stupid. Or I can't really do that. I got I may kind of rage behind the scenes, but I'm not gonna I can't really do that on Twitter, and I can't really do that when I'm on the floor. So it's sort of like,
it's true.
It can definitely be very nerve-wracking at times, especially on the weekend, the big weekend events when there's just so much going on. And it's like, you see 300 players in line to register, or they've registered and they're waiting to get their seat, and they're unhappy with you. Even though it's not your fault, but they need someone to talk to, and and sometimes that happens to me. So, and I do try my best to roll the punches.
I like that, and I think you can pull out some Minnesota nice every once in a while, like just throw some shade. I think that's allowed. Where you can be like, it sounds like you're saying nice things to them, but anyone who's reading between the lines can be like, oh my God, Kevin Mathers just burned the shit out of that guy on Twitter. Oh my God. But like in a way, it gives you deniability.
I would usually do that on that Kevmath. I feel like I have more freedom to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not as good as the team behind the Club WPT Gold account, which is they fire all the time. So it's, but they can sort of do that. But I feel, personally, I feel like I can't really. I can't really do that. I would kind of love to do that, but I think it's best for my career to keep doing this year after year. I gotta just stay even keeled as much as possible.
Yeah, keep your cool. I think that's smart. You got to play the long game. You can always you can always call me up and we can just have a bitch session about whatever's getting you down to.
That works. Your DMs are open, is what you're saying.
That's right. Yeah, my offer stands.
Okay, I may need to do that, Jim. So just be on the lookout.
I'm a good listener. So speaking of which, if folks do have any questions for Kevin, again, get them in the YouTube chat. We'll make sure that we bring them to him. We had some questions from the panel ourselves. So Chris Jones is considering making. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but we might get Chris down in Vegas for the WSOP this year. Chris, you had a couple of questions about some of the logistics of where everything is and that kind of stuff. Why don't you jump in? Let's get this party started.
Yeah. Hey, Kevmath, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad the schedule's out. I'm glad you're not going to be asked that question anymore. Over the past few years, I haven't been able to go to the footprint, and I know they've been sort of changing things up a little bit. Is it going to be kind of similar to last year in terms of where things are between the Paris and Horseshoe, or are they thinking about change? And I know last year they kind of switched up where the deep stacks were. Like, do you have a sense of like the footprint yet for how things are going to be sort of laid out?
I would think everything is going to be in the same. I have to assume at this moment, but I would say, unless I hear differently, I would assume that the same rooms will be used for the same purposes as last year. So, you're talking about in the Horseshoe, it's basically they're using the Provence and Normandy rooms as the daily deep stack satellites. They'll probably have overflow for some of the smaller buy-in weekend events. I certainly see that remaining the case this year. I mean, there's not really like any other new rooms that are available. At least not that I'm aware of. I mean, I don't know if they're going to add in. I don't know if they're going to add more tables. I haven't heard that yet, but I'm sure they will let us know they'll let us know and hopefully in advance so that you can sort of direct people where to go.
And then kind of jumping in to before we get into the full schedule, I think a lot of our audience, a lot of recreational players are interested in sort of the satellite. They might not have as big of a bankroll to kind of get into it. And I noticed, I think this is the same as last year, but all the satellites are landmark or milestone satellites, as far as I could tell on the schedule. Is that true, first of all?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. For what it's kind of interesting. The WSP likes to use the word landmark, and where pretty much everyone else uses milestone. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it is basically you have to get to a certain amount of chip. If you get to a certain amount of chips, then you automatically win your seat.
Right.
So
then one of the big satellite questions that came up last year, and I couldn't quite tell from the schedule here, was are they back to Lammers or not? I couldn't quite. It looked like they might be, but I'm not sure.
No, these will be actual. If you win a satellite, you will get actual casino chips. So basically, it's as if you were playing blackjack on the floor at the Horseshoe or at Paris. If you won, let's say you win $1,000 in casino chips, you can use those to buy into other tournaments, or you can just go to the cage and cash them out. And
just go put it all on red or something, right?
Right. You could take those chips. Yeah, you could take your 1,000 chips and put it on red or black. I personally prefer black. But.
Oh, do you? All right, fair. You heard it here first. Put it all on black.
Put it on black. There's an edge on black.
Always bet on black.
Exactly. Yes, it's the Wesley Snipes method.
Exactly.
Nice. Now, Kevin, so this is something that I think became more popular last year. So, and let's say you won an event, a satellite into the main event. You're going to get $10,000 in casino chips, and are there tax implications for that because you're over the $5,000 reporting limit?
Yes, that's actually a good point. That's a good thing you brought up, because I should know, because there are some satellites where you'll win 10,000, where you win 10,000 chips. If you take those 10,000 chips and enter the main event, then you are not taxed. But you have to take those chips and put them into the main event. You can't you can't go to the cage and cash them out because that's when you'll get taxed. So basically, anything
Interesting.
anything over $5,000 net is a taxable event. So there you'll see $580 satellites that are going to award $5,000 in chips. So that's if you can take those 5,000 chips and go to the cage and cash them in. That's not taxable. You're not going to get a W2G for that. And there will be some landmark satellites that will be direct entry into an event, and that's usually for the bigger buy-in events.
Mm-hmm.
The 25K high rollers, 100K high rollers, 50K Players Championship, the 250K super high roller. Those events are direct. You can't get chips. You're basically playing to enter that event, and you're not gonna hand you $250,000 in chips,
Right,
and just leave you on your way. It's to actually enter that event, and there are a couple smaller events where it's also direct entry into the Gladiators of Poker, and also I believe it's the Mystery Millions. It's direct entry into that event. You're not going to get $1,000 in chips.
Okay. So, and I guess my last question on that is, so in a lot of cases, you'll be getting chips directly. You can do whatever you want with those. And some of them, it'll be direct entry into events. Are those transferable? Do you know?
They're basically casino chips. So like, let's say you owe someone $500 and you want $1,000 in chips. You can give them $500.
Oh no, I mean if it's a direct entry situation, are you able to win a seat and then transfer that to a friend or sell it or anything like that?
No, you're not able to do that. You're entering if you're the intent of having those particular events is that you're going to play the event. So no, you cannot transfer that. You cannot transfer those entries to someone else.
All right, Carlos Welch will be crushed, but I think the rest of us will understand. That makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
and I think I know people are asking me. They sort of got rid of the single table satellites. I know Carlos was definitely one who really liked playing those events.
Yeah,
but I think there was just various issues that were coming up with people playing those events, and some things that weren't exactly kosher, I guess would be the kind way to say it. It's people were selling the chips underground or
sure,
out in the hallway and stuff like that. And I think that sort of thing was they didn't really want to have that. So that's why that's basically a big reason why there's no more single table satellites at the WSOP. Yeah. So that's why that's why they're doing these. That's why they don't have like the daily satellites for 1,000 chips or 5,000 chips or even 2,000 chips. It's to give people those options, but it's in a multi-table tournament setting.
Yep. All right, makes a lot of sense. And we're going to get into the actual schedule soon, but it's just a couple more general questions. We wanted to talk to you about sort of like some tips for spending as little time as possible in line when it comes to this kind of stuff. I know the kiosks have been popular if people have their WSOP accounts set up. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about sort of like some of the options that people have when it comes to buying in and moving money around and registering and that kind of stuff?
Okay, so yeah, we'll start with the fast track system, which is basically what you're mentioning is basically using the kiosks. So you basically, what you first have to do is you usually if you can bring cash with you to deposit into a tournament account, and you have to, when you do that, you have to get verified. So you let's say you put $5,000 into a WSOP tournament account, and then you can, after you get verified, then you can go online. And it's usually through it's through Bravo. Now, we're going to assume it's the same system as last year. It was based through Bravo.
Yep.
There's if you go to WSOP.com/registration, you'll see the information from last year, let's assume that stuff's going to be the same this year. There may be some stuff that will come into play. If you've played the WSOP Paradise, you're aware of the WSOP Plus app, which is how you were able to register for tournaments in the Bahamas. But we're not at this moment, we're not 100% sure that's going to happen this year, but it's definitely something that we sort of expect in the future. It's sort of it would definitely help with reducing the amount of waiting in line to register. But just going back to Fast Track, so you go online, you pick the events you want to register for, and you take it out of your WSOP tournament account, or you can also purchase seats at using a debit or credit card. There's fees associated with that, but It's again, it's mentioned on WSP.com/registration. But let's just say you use the WSP tournament account, you're only paying $3 plus the buy-in of the tournament, which is definitely. I think a lot of people will not mind paying $3 to avoid having to wait in a very long line to register for a tournament. You would hope.
That's right. Yeah.
But,
and
yeah. So you register, go to the kiosk, swipe your Caesars rewards card, and then you'll get your tournament receipts. And then
people can always line up in the registration area. People can, if you are bringing cash down, if you're going to be there for a stretch, you can get a safety deposit box on site for a couple $100, which is a nice feature. And you can also register for tournaments there. I've done that in the past because you can just line up with everyone else that has a safety deposit box, which is like 60 people, as opposed to hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in the registration line.
Right.
So
and another thing to be aware of is that registration is probably, if it's not 24 hours a day, it's basically going to be 23 hours a day. So there's definitely going to be, if you know you're going to be playing, let's just say you're playing a weekend event, and you come in on Thursday and you're planning to play on Friday, you could show up most of the time, anytime Thursday evening, let's say after registration closes, which is called 8 o'clock. The registration time is going to vary depending on the events, but for the events that start at 10 or 11 a.m., registration will be closed by about 8 o'clock. So basically, like 8 a.m. to let's say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. That should be a pretty good sweet spot to register for events that you want to play that weekend.
Nice. And you mentioned verification. So let's just, in case some of our audience are considering going down for the first time this year and they're not really familiar with the steps, you do have to, before you play in your first tournament, you have to kind of go to a different area on the property and get verified with your ID and stuff so that they know that you're good to go for future tournaments. Is there anything else like that people should know if they're coming for the first time?
Yeah, well, it is, verification is a step that everyone, even if they've played the last 5 years, I think it's 5 years that they've had the verification, the fast track kiosk. I may be off on that, but you have to get verified every year before the first tournament that you play. So if you use your WSP tournament account and you use that the entire WSP, you only have to do the verification process once. But if you use different credit cards, different debit cards, you do have to do that. You have to verify each method for the first time you're using that particular card for an event. And then, again, if you only use one credit card or one debit card, you only do verification once, and then you're set the rest of the series.
Okay, that's great. And I know for a lot of American players, it's going to be relatively trivially easy to have a bank account in the States, to wire money to the cage in real time, to go take out money from a bank and go travel to the cage in person with physical cash. But if folks are traveling from outside of the USA, what do you think is like the best way for them to bring that money in? Can they wire it directly to the cage? And I know the details will all be at WSOP.com if folks want to find out more specific information, but it's just sort of in the short form. Kevin, what are the best ways, do you think?
Yes. Yeah. As you mentioned, wire transfers are always a good idea. Last year they added a company called Payfinity. That's PAYFINITI.com. So that you can use crypto, the various cryptocurrencies, the major ones, your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, etc. There are, of course, fees involved. There's, if you wire money, there's going to be fees involved. So if you're going to send a certain amount, you should add like 100, like, maybe 100 is a little much, but you want to make sure that you're not if you send 10,000, there's going to be fees on top of that. There's going to be the wire transfer fee. So if you try to register and you have $9,980 in your account, so you can't register. So it's always going to be, and you'll be able to get that money back. You go back into your, you can have the money sent back to your account, or however you want to have that handled. Some people, they keep money on, they'll keep a small amount on just to have something in the account for next year, just and then when they come back. But again, most people like to have all their, not everyone has that luxury of just keeping.
All right.
You don't. I wouldn't intend. I would say I wouldn't intend to leave a lot if you're going to do this. I wouldn't put a lot of money on a lot of money on the account because it's just going to sit there and gather dust basically until next year.
Yeah, and you could be, racking up interest on that in your high interest savings account or something like that. So yeah, I'm with you. Lorianne, you had a question about the daily deep stacks, and then let's jump into the actual schedule review. Lorianne.
I do, and thank you for that segue, Jim. Hello again, Kevin. Before I ask my quick question, I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that there's 100 bracelet events this year, and apparently Philip Razor has already announced that he's winning 98 of those, and that he's going to allow Jim to win the main event, and Phil Hellman's going to win the other. So,
Very
as
generous.
someone, which is I think so, and it's probably good for someone like me and Kevin, who tends to play more of the daily deep stacks, which is where I'm going with this. I noticed in the schedule, it now says for the 4 and 8 p.m. Tournaments that they have what's called a quote accelerated format unquote. Is that just another term for turbo, or did they change something?
No, I would expect it's going to be the same turbo. I think they've actually used accelerated the past few years, but it's one of those weird things. Is like, pretty much everyone else uses turbo. I don't know why they go with accelerated. It just sounds fancy, but no, it should be.
It'll still be 20-minute levels.
Yeah, I would expect it to be 20-minute levels like it has in the past. Yes.
Okay. That was a simple, quick question. So thank you for that.
All right. Well, let's start rolling through. I'm so excited for this. So yeah, you mentioned there's 100 events this year. So congratulations to everyone involved for making it to the century mark. And that is extremely cool. It all starts off, and gang, jump in here. I'm going to kind of take the lead when it comes to this, and if we have any questions about specific events, please don't hesitate to put them out here. So it all starts off May 27th. It's a Tuesday. It's event number 1, the $1,000 Mystery Millions. That's a multi-flight event. And I did notice I'm not sure it's true in this one, but we are getting more of these kind of like multi-flights for some of these bigger tournaments, which is pretty cool. If you're down here, playing for the bracelet, it is, a multi-day tournament is a step up from a lot of like casino dailies, and then having like multiple flights is such a cool way of expanding that. So the Mystery Millions, what's mysterious about the Millions, Kevin, and what should we look forward to about this?
Okay, well, this is definitely, it's definitely one of the more popular events of the summer. It's a mystery bounty event, so basically, it's basically like a portion of the prize pool goes into a mystery bounty pool, and basically, if you can make it to if you make it through day 1, then you're going to be everyone that makes day 2 is going to be has a mystery bounty on them. So if you happen to eliminate a player, you have a chance of winning mystery bounties, which I believe is going to range from 1,000, and the top bounties the last few years has been $1 million. So last year there was a couple of players that won $1 million bounties. One of them was the Minnesota players are probably know very well. DJ Buckley, he pulled the one of the $1 million bounties.
Yes.
And what you may notice as well is that several of these multi-flight events have added a flight more than they have in previous years. So this year there's 5 day 1 flights, and that's up from 4 last year. So I think the intent, it could be, it may or may not be the case, but you could sort of like, some people are going to be here the entire week and they're going to fire multiple times in this event, or some people, they'll show up and they'll play flight E, because they're only going to fire, because there's 1 reentry per flight, so they're going to take their 2 shots on the Saturday for flight E.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people, if they're here for a while, they'll come in earlier and they'll play, be a smaller opening day, but maybe it's a better chance for them to make day 2, or you'll see this with some of the other events, the Millionaire Maker, the Monster Stack. That they add 1 more flight. So I think it's the intent that WSOP had was to try to spread it out, because having like 10,000 people in one flight is, not exactly the best experience, but some people like to spread out, and some people just like to, they're going to wait till the last moment.
Yep. All right. That's very cool. I mean, I still love the idea. Like the mystery bounty is such a cool format. I'd love to play in one of those. All right. Fantastic. We've got our first question from the YouTube chat here from Benny the Jet. He's saying, is verification open 24 hours a day? Like no matter what time of day, can you go to that room and get that verified, or do you have to plan at a certain time?
I believe last year it was. I'm not 100% certain, because what they did is they usually, in the past, they would have like a room. It would basically be like about 12 hours a day. It would be, let's say, like 9 to 9. But I think they put it into an area where they could sort of do it 24/7. I would expect that's going to be the case. If it's not 24/7, it's going to be extended period of time where you can get verified.
Yeah.
So again, you could sort of do it the day before of an event that you're going to play. You get yourself verified. Again, it's a one-time process for most people who are playing, unless they have multiple credit cards they want to fire on. But I don't expect a lot of people are going to be doing that. But I would say at this moment, you'll have plenty of opportunity to get verified.
There you go. And I'm a big believer in just getting down there the day before, getting it all ironed out, get your stuff sorted out, go get familiar with where the bathrooms are, get comfortable. When you get there and you're ready to play poker, you want to be thinking about playing poker and analyzing your opponents, and not rushing because you're not registered and you didn't verify. And, it's take the time and get yourself set in advance. Event number 2, also on May 27th. This is the $500 industry employees no limit hold'em event. So they've changed it. It used to be the casino employees event, I think, and now they've opened it up to guys like us, Kevin. Can we play in this now for industry employees? I like that idea.
I think it's basically, I think it's a good idea to have a name change, because I think there's been some confusion about who's considered a casino employee. I think most people consider a casino an actual brick and mortar casino. But I know there was definitely, people that were in the DFS, like your DraftKings, your FanDuel, etc. Various other online casinos, online rooms that were sort of like, they weren't really sure if they could play or not. But I think, opening it up, it's sort of like, if you're in the gaming industry, which includes the poker media, and I've played this event a couple of times in the past. I kind of don't like how they put it at the beginning, because it's sort of like day one, and it's sort of like day one, sort of like when things get kind of screwy. So I don't feel it's appropriate for me to be just like on day one, just like, oh, I'm just going to play this event and whatever, and then I just ignore the various people on Twitter or trying to find me and like wondering what the heck's going on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It'd be better to me if it was like in the middle of the series, but again, I don't have that kind of pull, unfortunately.
Now, are you planning to play any events while you're down there? I know they kind of you have to weigh it out real carefully, but do you have any circled for yourself?
I'm planning to play. I have a friend of mine that was interested in playing the tag team with me, so that's definitely the tag team is definitely one brace event.
So
I may
much fun.
play. Yeah, it's definitely it's an event that's it's definitely a fun event. Especially when it's 2-player teams. In the past it used to be 3 or 4. You could have up to 4, and that created its own can of worms. But tag team Friday event, I'll play the Super Turbo Bounty, the one event that I have a National WSOP bracelet event. I'll probably play that. But I would say I'm probably going to play more. Like Lori mentioned, I'll probably play more of the daily deep stacks than bracelet events. But it sort of depends on my schedule and how things are going.
Sure. Yeah. All right, and then we'll get into the Flight B for the Mystery Millions. Then on Wednesday, May 28th, it's event number 3, the $5,000 8-handed no limit. We're probably going to spend a little less time talking about the more expensive events, because I think our audience is less likely to be playing 5K and 10Ks. But 8-handed, you got to love that, and we're getting into the swing of things here. There's also event number 4 on Wednesday, May 28th. That's the 1,500 Omaha high-low 8 or better, and that one's 8-handed for some mixed game fans. Is there? I was going to say John Somsky is our resident mixed game expert here on the show, But John, I don't expect to see you in Vegas this June and July. Unfortunately, is that correct?
Yeah, I may or may not make it out this year, but it's probably unlikely. I think I am going to be looking at returning next year, however.
All right. Well, we're going to try and get you and Chris and I all in the same room, not in Minnesota, one of these days. I believe that we can do it. Rob, you're welcome to get over there. The OGs. And then we're going to roll right into this one looks good. We've got another flight C for the main event, event number 1. Sorry guys, I'm promising you I'm getting there. Event number 4. That's the Omaha Highland Better. Event number 5, $5,000 entry pot limit Omaha. Again, you won't catch me in that one, but I'm glad to see that it's out there and we're getting some of these mixed games getting some love in the WSOP schedule. Event number 6 is the 1500 7-card stud. That's also on Thursday, May 29th. And then we get down to our first real sort of high roller here. This is event number 7 on Friday, May 30th. $25,000 heads up, no limit Hold'em championship. So this is something that I think most people are going to be satelliting into, Kevin. And our satellites just for all of these events going on at all times, right down there, hard to miss.
Well, I mean, for example, usually for like the 5K and 10K events, there is a satellite the night before it's either 6 or 7 o'clock. So, basically like there is one, I think it's a 2750. That actually, that is the one satellite that's not a landmark satellite. That's basically, it's basically be set up as a bracket. So if they get 32 people and however many seats that awards, that's how many. But that's that is the only that I stand corrected. That is the only event that's not that does not have a landmark satellite attached to it.
That's cool. That makes sense because it's a heads up tournament, so they do a heads up bracket. That's kind of how we do Marek Madness too for our qualifiers. So there you go. They're just taking a page from the RecPoker Marek Madness occasion. That makes a lot of sense. We're leading the charge, trailblazers in every way.
So does the winner of the Marek Madness then get a free seat into the $25,000 heads up?
That's a great idea. Let's look at that for next year. I think that's a fantastic idea. Chris, sorry, I saw you also had a quick question about shot clock.
Yeah, no, Kevin, I know we don't want to talk a lot about the high rollers, but I think there's been talk over the years about having shot clocks at WSOP events, maybe down to a certain, buy-in threshold, maybe 10K and above, but maybe below. Have they made any decisions about shot clocks at the WSOP?
I believe it's I believe that I don't think anything under 25K has a shot clock. Could be
okay.
I could be mistaken, but you basically if it's 25K and up, they'll have a 30-second shot clock. I think it's just because the fields are so much smaller, because it's basically you're just using a tablet. I know Daniel Negreanu and there's other people that are like there should be more tournaments of shot clocks. But I think it's just, it's basically just use like a cheap Android tablet. I would think would be, but it's sort of like, he was like advocating chess clocks, and it's like, how are you going to keep track? Again, I could be. I'm not the expert on this, but it's sort of like it seems like it would be kind of difficult to track hundreds of players' shot clocks and make sure that they're done correctly. But it's all, of course, everything is easier to do online, so it's sort of like you can sort of do it, but it's like you're sort of trusting the human, you're sort of trusting the dealers to make sure that they're keeping track of everything, and some dealers are a little bit better at doing that than others, and that's why they're sort of limited to the 25K and up events.
And that is something that we should say out loud here on the show. If you are coming down for the first time, listen, you are going to encounter some less than excellent dealers at some point if you're playing in a lot of these events. And it's just because there's only so many good, excellent dealers out there. And you never get this many tables of poker all being played on at the same time. It's just difficult to amass a very, very high level of skill for every dealer in the country, at this one place at one time. So, we always say, just like, make sure that you're treating everybody respectfully. And, they're trying their best. Some of them are learning. And it's just like, you'll have some players down there that are new to it. You'll have some dealers down there that are new to it. And, it's a function of having an event of this size. And just remember that, the dealers are your friends. We're all on the same team, and don't take your anger out on the dealers. They're trying their best.
And this is, and I should just add, this is going to be the case everywhere in Vegas this summer. It's basically every year.
Yes.
There's going to be, there's so many events going on. It's not like we're not going to get. Are we going to get? Are the best year? It's going to be the WSP. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case. But it's sort of like, there's some people that love doing WSP, and there's others that don't. They would rather deal at the Aria or Venetian or Wynn, basically elsewhere. So it's kind of like your mileage may vary, but like Jim said, you have to be patient. Help, if there's people that are having trouble, try to be patient, help them out. Yelling, basically yelling at them is not going to make them improve all of a sudden. It's not like they needed someone to yell at them. They suddenly
that was the missing piece. Yeah,
they don't suddenly snap into being an incredible dealer when you basically call them out.
I like that. Yes. If folks are interested, Scott Lum, who's a RECing Crew member, just published a blog article last week on the RecPoker blog, going over his experience in the Asia Poker Tour and using the time chips and using the shot clocks over there. I will say, Kevin, I want to see more of these time plaques and time cards in lower buy-in events, just because it's so freaking cool to have to put them out there and let everyone know that you're really thinking hard about this one. Mm-hmm. They can't be that expensive to produce and distribute, so I want to see more time cards in lower buy-in events. Can you talk to someone about that?
I'll see what I can do for you.
Thanks.
But no, you're right. I mean, I think it would be better. I mean, yes, it would be nice to have time cards and and clocks in every tournament, but it is kind of, it's sort of like, just play, don't play slow. I mean, it's like, when there shouldn't be any decision in most parts of the tournament where you need to think longer than 30 seconds. I would think.
Yeah.
We're all not using the game trees and nodes and thinking we're outsmart the solvers and stuff like that. I just, when I play, most of the time, it's basically, when it comes to me, I'm acting. It's like, I know what I'm going to do. And there's going to be a few. It should be rare that there's a decision that's going to take a while, but sometimes there is.
Yeah, and listen, when you have a difficult decision, take your time. And it's just that, just don't tank. Don't abuse that ability that everyone has to take time with difficult decisions. And so you some of the stuff you can come up with in advance, and it does move the game along, and it's appreciated. All right, getting back into the mixed games, event number 8 on Friday, May 30th is the 1500 Dealer's Choice. So that's cool if folks want to get down and get a relatively low buy-in event and get a chance to win a bracelet in a mixed game. That's fantastic. Then we're on to event number 9. This is the $10,000 Omaha High-Low 8 or Better Championship. And so you're going to see a few of these similarly structured events at different buy-in levels, which is really cool. I think we saw like a 5,000 Omaha High-Low 8 or Better. We're going to see a 10,000 here. And then we get into one of the first real rec-friendly tournaments, and this is event number 10, the $600 No Limit Hold'em Deep Stack on June 1st. Now, if memory serves, this tournament was in later June last year, right after the Poker News Deep Stack. I remember because it was part of my own schedule that I put together for some friends and stakers when I put it together. Is this the same, basically the same tournament, just a different part of the schedule?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, there's a few events that you'll see year over year. Sometimes they move it around to, try to structure things, try to maximize the space of events. So we're seeing this at 10 a.m. on a Sunday. So we usually see the 10Ks are usually like a 2 o'clock event. We usually have like the 1500s and under are usually at 10 o'clock event.
Especially those D-gens. Those D-gens playing the 25K, they're not going to bed early. You got to cater to the max D-gen crowd. I get that.
Indeed.
But the $600, this is for recreational players. We have day jobs. We're used to being up and at 'em for
Right.
10 a.m. That I don't mind that at all. Rob Wash is like, "No, you suckers." All right, then WSOP event number 11 on June 1st, the $10,000 mystery bounty. Oh man, that would be so much fun. That'd be a fun one to satellite into. And for all of these mystery bounty, Kevins, is it that the mystery bounties come into play on day 2 once you're in the money? Are they all you're in the money on day 2, and are they all that's when the bounties come around?
That's good for the 10K. I'm thinking. I'm trying to think when last year. I think because there was definitely a controversy last year because I think mystery bounties started. They were on day 2, but they hadn't gotten to the money yet. But usually for these events, you get to the money and then everyone's a mystery bounty. But I think I will take a quick look at that one. But I think you'll be from the start of day 2. Let me double check though.
Okay,
cool.
cool.
The structure sheet.
I know they have to. Yeah, and this is great if people want to go to the link that I posted in the chat. It does have structure sheets and more information for all of these events, which is a great way to find out everything that you need to know. I know for the mystery bounties, the one thing that they really have to do is get through registration so they know how many players they're going to be paying and what the different mystery bounty amounts are. So that's one of the reasons why it's usually on day 2, and usually you're in the money on day 2. But
that is correct. Yeah, it kind of not makes sense to have like a mystery bounty when there's still registration, because you sort of need because every buy, a portion, in the case of the mystery bounty, $3,000 is going to the mystery bounty pool. So we need to know how big the mystery bounty pool is, and then we can determine how the mystery bounties will be distributed.
Yep, fantastic. All right, event number 12 on Sunday, June 1st. And June is the best month of the year, just so everyone knows. It's my birthday month. And just objectively speaking, it's the best month of the year. So I'm excited that we're in the June portion of the schedule here. 1,500 no limit hold'em, deuce to 7 low ball draw. That's a lot of words that all come together in a row and mean something about poker. I'm not a mixed game player. I won't be playing in that one, but I love to see it. And I'm glad that we get a lot of these mixed games coming in. It is the future of poker, and I love to see it. Event number 13, another 1,500. This one's the No Limit Hold'em 6-handed, and I love. We're just going to see a bunch of these 1,500 and lower bracelet events in No Limit Hold'em, which are really good value for our the people that are tuning in, RecPoker members. $1,500 does seem like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money for a poker tournament. But this is where you really start to see a lot of, really the best players in the world are playing in these, but also a lot of other folks that are just trying to take their shot, bucket list kind of stuff. And I think that 1,500 is a great price point where it still matters. It still means a lot. It's still expensive and we're still attached to it, but it is accessible. It is something that you could do if you want to just like save up for several months in advance and make it happen. So yeah, pretty cool. And the 6-handed format is a cool function as well, if people are in for that. On the June 2nd is event number 14, $25,000 mixed PLO No Limit Hold'em high roller event. So if you like switching from PLO to No Limit Hold'em, that's the one for you if you've got $25,000 in your pocket. Event number 15 is again, we're kind of seeing different price points for some of these. This is the 1,500 mixed PLO high-low 8 and Omaha high-low 8 and Big O. So another great opportunity for mixed game players to get in there and cut it up and go after that bracelet. Event number 16, this is a $600 pot limit Omaha deep stack on June 3rd. Number 17 is the $2,000 no limit hold'em. That's on June 3rd as well. And again, like, it sounds silly, but I kind of draw a line at 1,500, and I don't really play a lot of tournaments higher than that under any circumstances. So unless there was a dearth of other tournaments on at that time, I'd skip the 2,000 just because 2,000 is a lot of money. 1,500 seems a little more reasonable, but I like that they're giving people a lot of different price points in here. Event number 18 on June 3rd, that's the $10,000 Dealer's Choice 6-handed championship. So a lot of fun. Again, another great mixed player. We got a comment from Phil Razor asking if MSPT trophy winners get to cut in the registration lines, and if not, why not? They don't, and you know why, Phil. You know what you did. I'm not going to put you on notice here on the podcast, but that's on you, buddy. Use better judgment next time. On event number 19 on Wednesday, June 4th, here's the first like really crazy long weekend event. There's going to be multiple flights. This is the Colossus. It's been $400 in the past. This year, it's up to $500, which I know has raised a little some eyebrows in the recreational poker crowd. But this is a really cool format. Someone's going to just make a ton of money winning this thing. Is it the lowest entry tournament, Kevin, this year?
No, the Gladiator Poker at $300 is going to be the and we'll see that's coming up.
Okay, yes, of course. But I love that they've got this like the $600 deep stack, the $500 Colossus multi-flight. These are, listen, the structures are fast. You might have to rebuy, like you really have to get in there and go with your hand. But it is just a great experience and quite a very cool energy when you're in there. This next one's also super fun. Event number 20 on June 4th. This is a $1,500 no limit hold'em shootout. And the way that the shootouts work is you just have to beat everyone at your table. You get seated with 8 other players, and you only advance when you've beaten everyone at your table. Then you go to a new table and you're seated with 8 other people, and you only advance when you've beaten everyone at that table. So the tournament gets 1/9, gets smaller by 1/9 every single time that a table series goes through. And you end up playing shorthanded a lot more. You end up playing heads up a lot more. And eventually you end up getting at a final table, and whoever wins that wins the whole thing. So it's a very interesting format, and it's very different than a typical, multi-table tournament experience, because they're not breaking tables as people bust. Each play each one down. So very, very good for like shorthanded players to express an edge that they wouldn't get a chance to express in a typical multi-day tournament. So that's cool.
Yeah, and it's that, the shootout is sort of like I'm sure people remember playing sit and goes back in the day. It's sort of it's basically you have to win a break in the shootout. You have to win 3 10-handed sit and go. So it's sort of that's how you got to think of it. You're basically only have to beat 20. You basically have to beat 27 people. No problem.
Yeah, how cool is that, right? I love that.
And it should be noted that, like last year, there is a flight A and flight B of the shootout. So there's the opening flight is June 4th at noon. Then there's another one at 5 o'clock. So if you play flight A of the shootout and bust, you can play flight B.
Oh, okay, fantastic. That's sweet. I love that. Just writing down some more questions from the YouTube chat for when we get on to that one. So then we have on Wednesday, June 4th, that's event number 21, the 1,500 pot limit Omaha, high-low 8 or better. So you can see a lot of these Omaha tournaments, and it's just a different price point on a different day. I like that they're offering that kind of variety to a lot of the players down there. And then we're getting into event number 19, the Colossus. Again, multiple days, multiple flights for that, multiple flights for the shootout happening that week. Event number 22 on Thursday, June 5th, is the $25,000 no limit hold'em 6-handed high roller. Again, good luck to anyone who has $25,000 and wants to play in that one. It won't be me. Thursday, June 5th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's event number 23, the 1,500 Badoogie, which remains not the game that I play the best, but the game that I like saying out loud the most. So congratulations to our mixed game players out there. Hope folks have some fun in the Badoogie event number 23. This one looks like fun. Event number 24. This is the 1,500 pot limit Omaha double board bomb pot. It's a $1,500 dollar tournament to enter. And Kevin, is this just every hand that's dealt in the tournament is an Omaha double board bomb pot hand?
Unfortunately not. Now you may recall last year there was a PLO no limit hold'em double board bomb pot tournament bracelet event. They got rid of the no limit hold'em part, but basically every 8 hands is going to be a double board bomb pot. So if for those unfamiliar with the format, everyone puts out an ante, and then they deal a flop, and then that's basically when play happens. So people may recall back in the day the ante up tournaments, which is basically everyone antes and then they get dealt. Everyone's dealt in, then they see a flop, and then the play starts from there. So it's sort of like this, but it's definitely the double board bomb pots. That's something fun I like to say. is it's basically a lot of people. It's a popular format for cash game players. Especially down in Texas.
Yes.
They love to do double board bomb pots. So this is their tournament for those guys. Yes.
So Rob, oh God, I'm blanking on Rob Perlman, who was a guest on the show in December. Really fun guy. He's all about the double board bomb pots. So hopefully, if he's down there, he'll get a chance to enjoy that. So that's great. So 7 hands. It's pot limit Omaha, and then just every orbit they do a double board bomb pot. That's
right. And so basically, there's going to be 2 buttons in place. So it's not like everyone. It's not so like seat 1. That the button will be for that player, and then after 8 hands, will be seat 2 will be the button. As it goes around the table.
Fantastic.
So it's not like someone else's. So that's how they sort of keep track.
Yeah. Otherwise, one person would be in the same position for every bomb pot, which doesn't make sense. So they move that around. I love it. All right, then event number 25. This is another $10,000 7-card stud championship. That's one of the original poker variants. But that's how I learned to play on 7-card stud and 5-card draw and that kind of stuff. So. I never played for more than 10 cents at the time, so $10,000 seems a little out of my price range, but love to see these OG poker variants getting in there. And then another flight for the Colossus. Then we're on to event number 26 on June 7th. This is the $25,000 no limit hold'em high roller 8-handed. Again, I think we can just kind of move on past that one. We're not going to have a lot of rec poker players playing in the 25K. Event 27, the 1500 Big O. That's on June 7th. Another fantastic mixed game for our mixed game friends. Event number 28. This is a $600 mixed no limit hold'em / pot limit Omaha deep stack. So this could be a cool one. This could be a fun event where half the hands are hold'em, half the hands are pot limit Omaha. It's a deep stack tournament, and it only costs $600 to enter. So that's going to be a fun tournament, I think, if I had to guess. Moving on, event number 29. This is a $2,500 no limit hold'em. Again, just event number 29. Another fantastic, well-run no limit hold'em series. A little above my pay grade, but I'm sure it'll be a great time. Event number 30 on Sunday, June 8th. It's the $10,000 no limit deuce to 7 lowball draw championship. We're getting a lot of these fantastic mixed games off the bat. I love it. Getting into event number 31. Here's another rec friendly price point. This is an $800 no limit hold'em deep stack. It's 8-handed. It's $800 and it's deep stack. So there's what you need to know about that. I think that'll be a good format. Event number 32. This is a $50,000 no limit hold'em high roller 8-handed, and you can see how again they're just having a lot of these same events but with different price points throughout the schedule, which is nice. So everyone gets to enjoy the same variety of formats for people with different buy-in levels. So I appreciate that. On Monday, June 9th, it's time for event number 33. That's the $1,500 limit hold'em. So if you're a patient person who doesn't mind making small bets and always calling on the river, that's a good one for you. The event number 34 is the 1,500 no limit hold'em super turbo bounty. So Kevin, this is your favorite. This is your most likely played event. You've cashed in this one, I know, because you were a good horse, and I appreciate that. That was delightful that you involved me in that when that. And the super turbo bounty, Kevin, we both played in this. It goes fast. Like yes. It is a super turbo, and you really have to just like take every edge that comes up. Is the bounty? I want to say the bounty is 500 of this 1,500. Okay, so it's a third of the buy-in, and yeah, you can't be afraid to get your chips in the middle. I remember when I played in this the first time, we were averaging about an orbit per level. And so you really have to take those chances while you've got some fold equity, because you won't for long. So it's faster structures and shorter stacks do mean that the less experienced players give up less of an edge. So it sounds kind of crazy, but you might be maximizing your EV as a less experienced player by playing in some of these turbo events. But that one is a fun one. I do like that one. Event number 35, $3,000 no limit hold'em freeze out again. A freeze out. Thank God. How great is that? let's talk about that a little bit, Kevin. So there's been some talk about sort of freeze outs were how poker started. Then we started having like one re-entry tournaments. It's evolved to sort of unlimited re-entry and unlimited buy-ins for these tournaments. I think that's personally not good for the game. It's not good for recreational players. People can just come and fire. Pros with deep stacks keep flipping until they get a stack and move on. I noticed that it's the same number this year or there's actually one fewer unlimited re-entries this year. Are there more freeze outs? Are there more single re-entry, or is it just bringing it down a level on the unlimited rebuys?
Yes, you're right. I guess that may be something we discuss later about the event that's not going to be on the schedule this year. But yes, there are fewer freeze outs than there were last year. Last year there were 35 freeze outs. This year is 24. And I'm basing that off the article that Poker Fuse did earlier today. And yeah, we do see a lot of tournaments that had freeze outs that are now have one reentry, especially in the bigger buying events. And I mean, personally, I don't think it's bad to have one reentry, but it's unlimited reentry is definitely an issue, but it's sort of like some people they want to have a second chance if they bust, if they have a bad beat or whatever, or something, they run into a cooler. They want to have at least one reentry, but it's definitely a bone of contention for a lot of people with, especially this year. I mean, I've seen the discussion about the decrease in freeze outs, and but it seems like it's you sort of try to maintain it. It's a delicate balance. Some people want to have more freeze outs, but some people want to have that one reentry. There's events that have there's no same flight reentry. It's one of them is coming up very shortly that we'll discuss, I'm sure. It's kind of tough. It's always a struggle that the organizers have, is that they want to get the prize pools up, but then they don't want to basically just take all the players' money with issues with the rake and the number of reentries, and it's just it's really tough.
It is, and there's a tension there. There's a balancing act. Like, I think the providers make more money when you can buy in, an unlimited number of times. That's just more times they get to rake. That's a more profitable tournament for the venue. So I understand that. And listen, and I think for recreational players, if you're traveling to an event and you get aces versus kings in the first orbit and you bust, like, that sucks. That's a terrible experience. So I do think the one re-entry is maybe the sweet spot for this, where recreational players can still come and expect to play on one bullet and have one in their back pocket if they need it, but it doesn't give players with deep pockets the ability to just fire and build up a stack, and you end up with a lot of pros on day two in that format, because the recreational players can't afford to just keep lighting it up. But so I think that's a good balance for it, and I think we'll see more of that as we go through this schedule and other schedules into the future. 36. This is the $10,000 Pot Limit Omaha High-Low 8 or Better Championship. Another one of these Pot Limit Omaha High-Low 8 or Better. Again, we're going to see a bunch of these this season, and at all sorts of different price points. This one's $10,000, so we'll just move on past that one. But here we get to the Monster Stack. So this is one of these really fun, weekend tournaments. It's a $1,500. The No Limit Hold'em Monster Stack. It's going to have multiple flights. It's got a huge prize pool. It's got a huge field. It's one of the bigger tournaments that run at $1,500. We'll see a few of these throughout here. But I think it has kind of everyone knows the Monster Stack, and everyone, if they're there on that second week in June, they want to play it for sure. Let me be the first one to ask Kevin, is the Monster Stack re-entry tournament?
Yeah, well, it's I should know it is there. You can re-enter, but you can't enter the same flight twice. So if you play on A, you can play B, C, and or D, and then that.
Interesting.
So in the past, that was like the running joke was if the Monster Stack was re-entry, and a couple of years ago they finally offer players the option, if they played A, they could bust and play B. Now, this year we've seen, it's gone from 3 day 1 flights to 4, which is another sticking, another argument people have had. It's like wondering why do we have to have 4? Why do we have to have more flights? It seems like, the prize pool is big enough, and it's just, you're making it bigger, but are you really making it bigger? If it's, again, it's sort of, it's that balancing act. There's people that want to play, they want to play, they'll put 4 bullets in the monster stack, and there's some that will just play the 1 flight, and then, that's it.
Yep.
But
I do like the way that they're going about it, where there's not even a reentry per flight. There's just the ability to play in multiple flights, because that does, again, it kind of takes it like, it's like nice mix between the freeze out and some reentry there. So I appreciate that they're thinking about that. I know Eric Ebsen had a comment in here about reentry into the 10K PLO, and that, championships are supposed to be one reentry, and now they're allowing reentry. And I think that's just something that is the case for a lot of the we're just going to see more reentry. We're just going to see more reentry in poker tournaments as we evolve as an industry, unfortunately. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit at the end of the show if we have time, some of the virtues of freeze outs or single reentries or per flight, that kind of stuff. But it's going to be a conversation. You're going to keep hearing about it, I think, Kevin. And all right, now we get into one that Chris Jones, you've got this one circled, I think. The WSOP event number 38. This is the $100,000 no limit hold'em high roller. That's a classic Chris Jones tournament right there. Gonna go express your skill edge, right, Chris?
I'm actually intrigued. I'm not going to do this because I'm probably trying to go a different time. But Eric Epson and I were noticing that you can try to satellite your way into this for $120. So, I mean, what's that? Let's go.
Yeah. As you mentioned, it's 100. So basically, there's on June 10th, there's a 3-step process to get that you could satellite into the $100,000 high roller for $120, for as low as $120. So, so $120, that gets you an entry. If you get to the landmark, you'll get entry into an $850 mega at 3 p.m. So you play you get direct entry into that mega, and then you play the 850 mega, and then if you're fortunate enough, then you'll win entry into the 6 p.m. $7,500 mega. And if you hit that landmark in the 7,500, then you've won your $100,000.
Wow.
High roller seat. And I've seen there's been time. I know there's been a couple instances where someone has gotten to that 3rd step. They went from step 1 to step 3, but unfortunately they failed at the final hurdle. But it would be quite the story for someone to at least get into the field for $120.
Yeah. And then you just got to outlast some of the best players in the world to try to cash with your 100K. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. Just run good a little. God, is it that hard? Right? That's when you don't want to bubble. So that's a tournament you really don't want to bubble. I'll be knitting it up on the bubble for that one. Event number 39, $1,500 horse or heroes, or there's a bunch of different ways we could say that. I heard that it was going to be torse for some of these events. Is limit hold'em on the way out, Kevin?
Well, it seems that that's the case in for mixed game events. It's sort of like we've seen. We can thank or blame Alan Kessler. It depends on your opinion of the situation. But there is we'll see it later in the schedule that there is a torse event that replaces a horse event. So, and for those that are unaware, the T in torse is for triple draw deuce to 7. So I think some people just don't like limit hold'em apparently, which I don't think Alan would like limit hold'em, but I think it's sort of like to just create a new event. And the torse format has sort of gotten popular, and as you mentioned, Jim, people are sort of doing the heroes or the short. They're sort of moving the they're sort of rearranging horse in the various ways that you can.
Yeah, that's cool. But
some places have gotten rid of they have rows, so they get rid of hold'em altogether. So but it seems limit hold'em is it's continuing the downward slide in tournament poker, unfortunately. For those who
well,
like
there are a lot of there's a lot of different variants out there. They can't all be winners. I know when we do our mixed game podcast, we do a different featuring a different mixed game every month. The limit hold'em tips that we got from our players, our coaches and celebrities, they all kind of poo-pooed limit hold'em as not be as exciting as some of the other games. But good to know that here at the WSOP, whether you're a horse or a torse or a hero or a show, or I don't know, whatever the hell it is,
Sure,
there's room
sure.
for you. So yeah, sure. Yes, thank you. There we are.
I should note that there are weekly horse deep stacks at the WSOP. So you can, if you want to get your horse fix, that is there. They are so big. And actually, that's one of the events I cashed in last year at the WSOP. I cashed in one of the weekly horse events. And
Oh, nice.
So that was kind of fun for me because I pretty much bricked everything else I was playing during the summer. So I got one cash.
Nice.
In a daily deep stack, and I had like a brutal bubble towards the end of the series, and that was
those daily deep stack course events. That's about the cheapest entry you can find in a horse event.
Yes. And just to be aware, if you're playing, these are really fat. The limit structures for the horse event, the horse daily deep stacks are really fast. So you gotta get your chips in. You gotta get them in good early and often.
Yep. All right. So the Blusterini approved. We got a question from Vader Poker. I was on the show recently. Nice to see you again, pal. It says there's no Monster Stack Saturday flight. He notices. So is Saturday day 2 for the Monster Stack, or are they taking a day off, or what's up with that? Is there usually a Saturday Monster Stack flight?
Let's see. Hold on, let me take a quick look because I think there is a. Let's see, Wednesday. No, the flight D is the final flight of the Monster Stack is on Saturday.
Oh, it's just not on the. Is it on the?
Yeah, it's. I see. I'm looking at the PDF schedule, and yeah, it's there. I mean, I think if you there, I know there's been some issue with tournaments appearing on. If you go to WSOP.com/tournaments, you'll sometimes not see a tournament there, but they'll rectify relatively quickly.
All right, so there you go.
So I mean, personally, if you go to WSOP.com/tournaments and you click on the link that says download schedule, that's the PDF version of the schedule. And it has all the information on the bracelet events, on the daily deep stacks, the satellites, and all that, the main event satellites, etc. So that's probably your best bet. That's like just to be certain that event's there. So yeah, there is 37D is on the schedule Saturday, June 14th at 10 a.m. So
okay, fantastic. We missed it here.
It's good to point it out because you sort of expect you sort of expect a big weekend event to have a Saturday flight.
Yeah. All right, there you go. So Vader,
it's good to point that out. Thank you, Vader.
Eagle eyes here in the YouTube chat. We love it. All right, so we talked about Horus. We got through in the Monster Stack. Now it's event number 40, the $5,000 Seniors High Roller No Limit Hold'em. And seniors, what does that mean, Kevin? How old do you have to? How much salt do you have to have in the pepper to play in the seniors event? What's the age cutoff for that?
The seniors events are 50 and older.
50 and older. I mean, that hardly seems senior at all. I feel like 50. You're just starting life, really. You're just kind of figuring things out. Like learning what you like and sort of making your mind up and getting all calcified. I feel like they should make that like what's super senior, 55 or 60 or something like
super 60. Senior is 60 and older. It used to be 65.
Yeah. You guys got to get more optimistic. There's a lot of life left at 50 is what I'm saying. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel attacked. I feel personally attacked. And I'm only 44, but just looking down the road a bit. Oh, John,
they just want to give you 50 years to play the seniors tournament. So
I like that.
Now you may be interested to know, Jim, that the WSP circuit this year they've done something called the Grandmaster ring events.
Oh,
and that was 40 plus.
So I like that. Lorianne, what's your take on those?
I said, what? Well, I'm still trying to get past the fact that I qualify for the super seniors and basically not this year, 2 years. I mean, next
Wow.
year I can play the
Yeah.
super senior. So that's kind of like, whoa, but I'm like you. Yeah. I'm going to be 60 years young next year. So, but that's just
Amen.
weird. It's just weird to think of super seniors. So yeah,
Yeah.
we
Well,
gotta come up with a different name for that or something. I don't know.
right. Yeah. Well, congratulations in advance, Loria.
Well,
That
thank
sounds
you.
like fun. Yeah, you're gonna enjoy that.
Super
So
senior.
Kevin, it's the Grand Masters. Is that what they're calling it for 40 plus?
Yeah, that was for they were doing that for some circuit events. I've seen that now. I was kind of expecting that they would make that one of the events this year, but we'll see that coming up. They've sort of done the twist on the seniors event.
Okay, I
As
kind of
well.
like. I mean, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean we're coming up to it soon, so we'll discuss
Okay.
it. But
Yeah.
you'll have the chance. You being a young guy at 44, you'll have your chance to play with the seniors in the event that we'll be discussing.
Ooh. Okay. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. We'll get to that in just a second here. Event number 41. This is a $10,000 limit hold'em championship. So again, for all those limit fans out there, you get a chance to get in there with 10K. Event 37. Oh, that's still continuing the monster stack with Flight 1C. Then we get to event 42, another Pot Limit Omaha 8-handed tournament. Pot Limit Omaha is all over the schedule this year. This one's for $1,000, so you can get in there and win a bracelet for $1,000. That's pretty cool on Friday, June 13th. Friday the 13th, though. Ooh, okay, so you gotta. It's a hard day to run good, but I guess it can't be bad luck for everybody. Someone's gonna have a lucky day.
Someone has to win. Someone has to win the bracelet. It's not like it's gonna be just second place. Someone's got to win. Someone will dodge all the bullets.
It's true.
To win the
It's true.
bracelet.
And I have this on good authority. I've checked with several people who are in positions of power at the WSOP, and they will not stop the tournament until somebody wins it. So someone is going to win the tournament.
Yes.
So it could be you. It could be you. Why not you? Come on down. Give it
exactly.
a try. You never know. If you like mixed games and you're in town mid-June, then on Friday, June 13th, again, there's number 43, the $1,500 Raz. I know Robbie Straczynski is going to be playing that one.
And Norman Chad.
And Norman Chad, of course.
Norman
yes,
Chad,
long time.
Yes. He is a big fan of the Raz Rush. He thinks that's the future of poker. So we should expect to see Norman in the $1,500 and $10,000 versions of the Raz.
I believe it. It feels weird to call Norman a friend of the show because he's such an irascible hard ass all the time. but Norman, you're a sweetheart underneath. I believe it, and I hope that you are playing these and having a fantastic time. He's definitely not listening, but anyway. Event number 44. Here's the $10,000 Big O Championships. That one's going to be fun. Another mixed game with for folks that have a lot of dough in their pockets. So congratulations to those. Lorianne, here's one I know you've got your heart on, the $500 Salute to Warriors No Limit Hold'em. Another fantastically accessible price point for a bracelet event. And Lorianne, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the portion of the proceeds from this goes on to support American veterans. Is that right?
That is my understanding, yes, which is why I always play it.
Has
that changed, Kevin? That's always been my understanding.
Yes, that's correct. It's yes, as they know, it's proceeds donated to the USO and other veteran organizations. But yes, you are correct. It's that is still the purpose of that. And it is, some people kind of, it is an event open to everyone, and you don't have to be don't have to serve in the military to play this event. It's open to everyone.
That's a great point.
Yes.
And then, so Rob Washam, I know you're playing this one. This is event number 46. This is the $250,000 super high roller no limit hold'em. Now that you're retired and living across state lines there, how are you preparing for this, Rob? I'm curious. You don't usually play at this particular stake level, but what are you doing differently to set yourself up for success here?
I'm going to hide in a shell somewhere and not play a hand unless I have pocket aces.
There you go. Yeah. I've heard that's a pretty good hand, so that sounds like a good strategy.
Yeah, I think
I'm playing that one too. I didn't know Rob was also playing.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
I'm only playing 2 events: the Salute to Warriors and that one.
that's right.
I'm on a budget, so
Yeah.
it's supposed to be penciled in. So
Yeah,
see you
I
there,
only
Rob.
I only had $250,500.
$500,
So
exactly.
that
So
was how I broke it up between
I had
those
to
two
spend it
tournaments.
wisely. Yes.
Nice. All right, we can probably move on from that one. Event number 47, the $2,500 mixed Omaha high-low 8/7 card stud high-low 8. So another cool mixed game set up there for $2,500. And then we're into the $1,000 seniors no limit hold'em championship. This is flight A. It's a $1,000 buy-in, and all you need to be is like 50 years young, and they'll let you play in that one. That sounds great. Event number 49 is the $3,000 no limit hold'em 6-handed. Not much to say about that. It's 6-handed. It's no limit hold'em. It's $3,000. Then we get back into Raz on event number 50 on the 16th of June. This is a $10,000 Raz championship. So that's going to get some very cool people playing in that one, I bet. Then we get on to event number 51. This is the 25,000 high roller pot limit Omaha. Are there more Omaha tournaments this year, Kevin, or am I just like seeing them more frequently as we're going through here? Am I going crazy, or are there more?
No, I think there's definitely been an increase in the amount of interest in pot limit Omaha. We've seen that in the past few years, but I think we're definitely seeing more. We're definitely seeing more pot limit Omaha events, which is again, I think most people, some people are just not a fan of hold'em, or especially no limit.
Somebody needs to tell Jim that there's a difference between Omaha and Omaha high-low. They're two different games. So.
Yeah, and there is no limit Omaha high as a standalone bracelet event. There has been one in several years, so you also have to remember that it's always pot limit Omaha high, not limit Omaha high.
All right, that's a good note. And I am definitely going to forget that and all these other, nuanced variety differences, because I mostly just play no limit hold'em, and I love getting more involved with mixed games, but I still have no idea what I'm talking about. Do not treat me as an expert or an authority when it comes to anything to do with mixed games. But yeah, I'm good. Good for you guys. I'm happy for you. Event number 52 is a $1,500 no limit hold'em freeze out. So we get another one of these freeze outs. This is a great spot. $1,500. You against some of the best players in the world. It's a freeze out tournament. No one gets to just fire away and build up a stack. This is going to be a good old fashioned no limit hold'em poker tournament, and someone's going to win a bracelet at the end of it. So I hope folks get a chance to go check that out. And then we're getting down into the Millionaire Maker. This is another one of those sort of like famous perennial tournaments. Someone's going to go home with $1 million. There's going to be multiple flights for this one. It's $1,500 to enter. And Kevin, is this another one where you can play multiple flights, but you can't re-enter, or can you also re-enter like once per flight, or is it unlimited? What's the deal with this one?
This is one re-entry per flight, and as it should be noted, there are 4 day 1 flights for the Millionaire Maker this year. So again. But yes, you could play the $12,000 Millionaire Maker if you wish. Now, most of the audience probably isn't going to be playing the $12,000 Millionaire Maker. It would probably be the $1,500 or $3,000 version that they'll be in.
There you go. But yeah, this is another one of those. The Monster Stack, the Millionaire Maker. These are two of sort of the big ticket items for recreational players that go down for the long weekend and want to book a one-way flight, because you never know if you're going to make the final table. You can see how much you get there. But yeah, these are very, very cool. Huge prize pools, huge field sizes, and it's very much sort of like the typical WSOP experience, where you're going to be sitting cheek to jowl with a bunch of people. It's going to be long lines. It's going to be, like I say, huge fields and huge prize pools. So that it's a very cool experience if you get a chance to play in one of those. On Wednesday, June 18th, it's event number 54, the 1,500 pot limit Omaha 8-handed. So more Omaha for our Omaha fans. On the 18th, there's also event number 55. This is the $10,000 horse championship. So another big ticket mixed game here. Then we're doing more flights for the Millionaire Maker. Event number 56 on June 19th is the $2,500 mixed table draw low ball, mixed triple draw low ball, parentheses limit. Boy, I'm not even going to take a stab at that, but it looks like a fun mixed game if you want to get into that. On Friday, June 20th, first of all, it's my birthday. So I'm going to be having a nice relaxing day. I'm not going to be playing in event number 57, the $50,000 high roller pot limit Omaha. And it's because I don't have $50,000, but it's also because that's my birthday. And I'm just going to like that day's about me. June 20th, you guys have fun playing some tournaments if you want. That day's all about Jim for me. I'm just going to sit back and relax. Then we're getting into the 9-game mix. This is event number 58. It's a $3,000. And that's a 3-day event that starts on Saturday, June 21st. And this one's cool. Okay, this is a cool new event. This is event number 59. And it's known as the Battle of the Ages. Now, this is a new tournament this year. And what makes it kind of cool is that we are splitting up the entries. If you are 50 or if you're over 50, you can play on flight A. And if you're under 50, you can play on flight B. Am I getting that right? And then they combine them into day 2.
What if you're 50?
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point.
Exactly 50.
It is 50 and over for flight A.
Okay.
It is 50 and over. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people at 50 years old are not.
Yeah, you don't get to play.
Exclude.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cruel just to exclude players who are 50 years old from the event. Or maybe if they create a fair flight where it's just players who are 50. But it is 50 and over on flight A, under 50 for flight B.
Okay, and
yes, you're correct that they are combining. It is a 2-day event. So actually, it's basically both flights are playing on Sunday, the 22nd, and then they'll play to a winner the following day. But what I would think would be a better idea is to have it as a 3-day event and have the players that are 50 and over play down to five players on day 2. And then for the flight B, have the 50, everyone under 50 play down to 5 players, and then put the final 10 together, half and half. Because I think what's going to happen is I think we're going to see, even though the 50 and over will be probably the bigger field, I think the under 50 will have most of the players at the final table. I may be wrong.
I think that's very cool.
But I think that's a cool idea. No,
yeah,
chance they can change that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't have any pull on that one that change that one? Because then that would really be more like a battle of the ages when you have it at the final table. I think that's a great idea.
How do you account though for the difference in the field size?
I think that's why they don't do it that.
Because the older than 50 people have to beat the other 1,000 people who join, and the under 50 people have to beat the other 5,000 people, or whatever the numbers would be.
Well, I mean, we've seen the past over the years that the seniors event is like one of the bigger has had the biggest growth. Basically because as people get older and they still like playing poker, they hit that 50 mark and it's like this is their event. So I mean, I think the over 50 would actually be bigger than the under 50. Personally, I mean, it is starting earlier. The 50 and over is starting at 10. The 50 and under is starting at 4. You may see some people, that may have, if it was a little earlier in the day, they may consider playing or not. But it'll be an interesting battle. Let's try that again. It'll be interesting to see how the field breaks down for both of those. But it's an interesting idea. At least
it is.
At least give it a try.
And I like that they give the Graybeards that 10 a.m. start because they've already been up. They had breakfast 4 hours ago. Like they're ready. Let's go. And then the young guns, they get in there at 4 p.m. Gotta sleep it off. That makes sense. That's very thoughtful of the WSOP, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes.
All right, that it's event number 60, the $3,000 no limit hold'em 6-handed. Again, just a
That
great...
is just a correction. It is limit hold'em, not low
Oh,
limit.
it is limit. It says no limit
Yeah.
hold'em, but it is limit
That's
hold'em
that's
6-handed.
another.
Okay.
Again, that's another thing. They need to fix that one as well. So yes, it is limit hold'em that event.
All right. Kevin, and where should I direct our invoice for the quality control work that we're doing for you here live on the show? Can I send that to you directly, or can I get that credited directly into my WSOP tournament account? Is that the best way to do that?
Yeah, I think we can do that. And I should note that I have been helping proofread the structure sheets. I've only gotten to 40, so we would this. I know there was a few errors that were discovered during the days that need to get resolved, and
constant
if we're going to start making interactions with Kevin Mathers a transactional thing, poker players are going to need to start donating a lot more money to Kevin Mathers.
That's a great point. Oh yeah, I'll just shout that out. So I love when I get to hook up with Kevin down in Vegas. I really only see Kevin once a year in Vegas for the WSOP. And I'm always quick to put a cold drink in his hand if I get that opportunity. So I'm just going to say, if you're in the YouTube chat, we're going to do our food bank giveaway at the end of the show. And I encourage you to stick around till the end so you can type the words food bank and get into our raffle for that. But I also share a portion of all the donations that we get through our YouTube chat with a local food bank. And so if you have a super chat or a super comment or a super sticky and you'd like to donate to RecPoker through the YouTube chat, I will always share a portion of those with a local food bank. But for everyone who makes a donation today during the show, I am also going to buy Kevin Mathers one beer while we are in Las Vegas together. So if I see some donations coming in, Kevin, I'll let you know. You can hold me to task, and when I get down there, you'll just be forced to have a nice cold beer with your buddy Jim. Sorry, buddy, it's a tough life sometimes.
Yeah, it is, and I definitely appreciate any and all cold beverages, alcoholic or not.
There you go. All right, so we've moved past the 60 event number 60, the $3,000 limit hold'em 6-handed, and now we're into. I love these tournaments. So like event number 61, it's a $500 WSOP bracelet event. It's a no limit hold'em freeze out. Like everyone who's in Las Vegas should be playing this event on Monday, June 23rd. Come on, $500. Freeze out, win a bracelet. I love it. I would love to see more tournaments like this. Let's just go see who's gonna run hot for 2 days and just and take home a bracelet for $500. I love that idea. That's so cool. Event number 62. This is a $5,000 no limit hold'em 6-handed. Kevin, I'm just going to assume that if it says no limit, it's no limit for the rest of these. You can let me know if we have any other catastrophic screw ups. Like
I think we're good, but but you never know. You never know, Jim. It's hard to do 100 tournaments. You can't.
Good point. Good point.
Right. You can't. It'd be ideal if we get it right on the first try, obviously, but
that would be ideal.
But it's 100 tournaments. It's hard. A lot of time.
The standards are. Listen, I don't know if you've been on the RecPoker podcast before, but like we hold ourselves to such a high. We never mess up any audio cues. Our production values are top notch. It's a flawless production, and we expect that of our guests, Kevin. So I
understand. I may have to bill you for the various audio flubs I've been making. So I may have to hand that beer back to you.
Oh well, okay. That's right. I like your odds.
We will see.
All right, here we are. There's a $5,000 event number 62, $5,000 no limit hold'em 6-handed. Get in there and give that one a try if you've got $5,000 and want to win a bracelet. Event number 63. This one looks like fun. It's a $1,500 low ball triple draw 6-handed. That's on the 23rd as well. And then we are going to get to some super seniors for event number 64 on June 24th, 10 a.m. start, because, of course, got to get at that after breakfast nice and early. That's the $1,000 super seniors no limit hold'em. Great opportunity to go and battle it out for a bracelet for $1,000. This next one, Kevin, you mentioned it earlier, event number 65. This is one of my favorite events throughout the entire series. It's the tag team event number 65, $1,000 tag team event. It's no limit hold'em. You and your partner each put in $500, and you and your partner split the winnings at the end of it. You guys have done this in a few different ways over the years. I love the current format. There are no breaks. You tag in and out. You and your partner can choose when to play and when not to. But there are no breaks. You have to at least both play one orbit or one set of blinds while registration's open or something like that, Kevin.
That is correct. You basically took the word right out of my mouth.
Okay. Oh,
yes,
well, excellent. Well,
yes, it is.
We've done this a few years now.
Yes, both players have to play a small and big blind before registration closes. And an important thing to know is that both players on the team must register at the cage at the same time. There is no online registration for the tag team event.
Yes, great point. And you can't register and then your friend comes and joins your team later. You have to show up together with your ID together. You're both verified together. You pay for it together.
Yep.
And you have to choose a captain. So it doesn't make any difference who the captain is, but you should talk to your partner about that before you get to the cage. Otherwise, you're going to have a very kind of like awkward on the spot battle of dominance. You could probably just sort that out in advance.
Rochambeau. That's what you got to do.
There you go. Nice. I was thinking
what makes
more.
the captain the captain?
Yeah, Kevin, is there any what is like attached to what significance is it for being the captain?
There's not like a real significance. I think it's just like for like the updates and end of day reporting. It's like it's that person's team, so it's sort of like Jim Reid's the captain. I mean, it would be kind of nice to have both players on the team on the same line. That hey, we made day two. We made day two, not you. It was your part. You and your partner made day two.
But I guess honestly, it is one of those things where it's like a lot of the reporting structures have templates that are set for one name, and so it just makes it easier to have one name in there.
I think that's the reason why it's done like that. I think that's why they have a captain. But I get it. I mean, when the payouts are done, it is both players are recognized. So
yes, and I think one of the things that's the most cool about that event is that all the cool people in the world are playing in that event. It's super fun. Industry people, poker pros, and they're playing with like their buddies or their spouses or their significant others or their siblings or something like that. And so you get a really interesting variety of skill levels in the tournament, but you also get so many cool people just standing around watching their partner play in the tournament. And it's like most of the time when you're down in Las Vegas for WSOP, if you want to go talk to Daro Carney or Daniel Negreanu or Phil Hellmuth or one of these people, they're either playing poker or they're like on their way somewhere very important, and it's hard to like schmooze. It's hard to rub elbows with some of the glitterati of the poker world. But in the tag team event, they're all just hanging out there on the sidelines in the aisles, watching their friends play, and it's a very like intimate collegial experience. The vibe in the room is very friendly and open and casual and fun. And so it's a really cool, even if you're not playing in the event, I mean, I think you should because it's really fun. But it's a good one to go and hang out in the room for, because you're gonna see a bunch of people that you'd love to talk to that are just like standing around available in a way that they wouldn't ordinarily be. Have you played in that one before, Kevin, or will this be the first year?
This will be my first year playing the tag team event, and it's definitely I definitely see it when I'm walking around. It's just like it's sort of like I mean, you've played the tag team event. It's sort of like they sort of like have this like an area roped off, and then you're sort of like behind the if you're not playing, you're just like watching, or you're off doing something else. But it's just like it's like a pretty loose atmosphere I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I played my first time with George Sanford, a wonderful guy in the Minnesota poker scene who's no longer with us. Unfortunately, we miss you, George. But there is some tension. Like one of you is going to bust the other one out of the tournament. Like no matter what happens. I played last year with AJ Rudolph from the WPA. And there is this sort of like pressure to not bust even more when there's someone else riding on. I busted in one and my partner busted in the other one, so I'm 50-50, but it is a weird kind of feeling where it's like
Yeah, it's
oh,
kind of,
so we busted, eh?
yeah, it's kind of, it's like kind of awkward. Like if what you say, you sort of like had this plan to play like to play every level, just
Right.
switch every level. But like you play, let's say like you play like then that first level, then you're like in a spot, and it's like if I lose and they didn't get to play, and it's like they paid $500 for nothing. They didn't even get to experience playing the tournament. Well, that's kind of like the feeling I have when I'm going to have is I don't really want to bust early because I at least want us to have at least some amount of time playing, both of us playing the tournament.
I love it. Yeah, that's right. It's real. The pressure is real.
Yes.
All right, on to event number 66. This is the $50,000 Poker Players Championship. Again, to those playing, good luck. Let's move on. It won't be us. Event number 67. Okay, now we're talking. So this is the Gladiators of Poker, No Limit Hold'em. This is another one of these multi-flight events. It's a $300 entry with a $3 million guaranteed prize pool. So this is like, you do not find value like this in any other tournament series in the world. To win a bracelet for $300, to win, a piece of a $3 million guaranteed prize pool for $300 is pretty spectacular. Again, the structure is pretty quick. Expect to have to rebuy. You do have to just like win a lot of flips to advance in tournaments like this, but you're not going to get a better opportunity to turn $300 into a bracelet. And is this always the biggest field, out of curiosity, Kevin? Is this one unlimited rebuys? I believe it is for something.
It's
like
2 reentries per flight this year.
2 per flight. That's right.
Yeah, and last year there was a smidge over 20,647. And
wow.
I mean, we should expect more than that because there is more flights this year. So
right.
I mean, we're probably going to see. 25,000 seems like a given, I would think. But
that's amazing.
But yeah, it's sort of it's definitely if you're planning to play the event, this is definitely an event you want to get in early. You want to register early. Well, actually, was it 5 flights? It was 4. Excuse me. It was 4 flights last year. I think it's 4 again. It's 4 again this year.
Okay, but yeah, it's going to be very well attended.
Yeah,
and that's a good point. That's a good point, Kevin.
Especially like that last flight. The last flight's going to be just complete chaos.
Yeah. And this is definitely one where you do not want to be registering that day for. The lineups are going to be insane. Everybody's going to be there. And this will be now, Kevin, for some of these flights where you can rebuy while the game is still going on, you can get like quite a long rebuy line as well. And are there plans to have like alternates this year, or is it simply just like get in line and when a seat comes up, you get put into it? How does that work?
I'm going to for whatever reason they've always just done late. They've always just considered it late registration, not alternates. I know there's a lot of people basically everywhere else they'll do alternates instead of a late registration line. I mean, it's sort of like. It seems like it would be better to do instead of having people just standing around, or you worry about someone cutting the line and things like that. It seems like alternates would be better, but again, it's one of those things where it's like the WSP staff wants to do it this way, and it's kind of I would assume that's going to be the case again this year.
Is there and is it like if you're in line at the point that registration ends? You're still able to buy your ticket. You don't have to actually have purchased it at the time that registration ends. How does that work?
It should. Well, the standard policy is that if you're in line, especially if you've already registered and you're in the late reg line, you will get a seat eventually. Now, of course, you're going to have not as many chips. I mean, it was not as big a stack, but again, that's one of the dangers of registering late. Is you're basically going to back with at the end of after max late regging. With like 10 big ones. So
and let me ask you that, Kevin. So like let's say I did decide to max late reg to this one because I busted just before it closed. So I got in line. I was one of the last people in line. I did give them my $300 and I got my ticket to go but now I'm in the next line of people waiting to get seated, and that's taking forever. Can I at that point just say, you know what, I know I late registered for this, but I'm only going to have 4 big blinds by the time I actually sit down. I'm actually just going to, I'd prefer not to play this event. Can I go back and like unregister before I take my seat?
Well, it wouldn't be you wouldn't be unregistered. You basically, if registration is closed, you're not you would basically you would just get refunded. You would have to go back to the cage and and basically you have to make sure. Now, something I neglected to mention with Fast Track is that when the Fast Track cage, you'll get free receipt. You'll get 3 pieces of paper. Now, again, this is one of those things that's kind of annoying. Is that the third piece is like the most important. That's the dealer's copy of the receipt. And that's what you have to provide to the dealer. If you don't turn that into the dealer, then you're not able to play. And so you have to keep that dealer's copy when you go back and I late reg, and then I was in this line for an hour and a half. I didn't get to play. I didn't want to play it anymore. So I have to go back with that dealer's copy, and then you'll get refunded the buy-in. If you register online, you're not going to get fees back, but you will get the $300, whatever the buy-in is for that tournament.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. Good thinking. And again, just, for folks to know, a lot of these ones with max late reg, you are going to be quite short stacked if there's a line, not an alternate line, but it takes a while to get your seat. That is something that you should consider.
Yes.
All right, then let's move on to event number 68, the $3,000 no limit hold'em. Again, that's just a $3,000 no limit hold'em bracelet, similar structure to some of the other ones we've seen. Event number 69, nice. That's the 1,500 7-card stud high-low 8 or better. So another one of those $1,500 price points, which is a great place for folks to get in. And then I've noticed that this tournament is usually in late June, around the same time of year. This is the Ladies No Limit Hold'em Championship. It's a $1,000 tournament to enter. And this is women only are permitted to play in the tournament. There's always some controversy about who's eligible to play in it, and people, try and make it into a political situation. And I wish we could skip all that crap. But Kevin, what's the actual wording for who's allowed to play in this tournament?
Well, men are allowed to play the tournament, but they have to pay $10,000.
Yes.
Okay, I love this. I love this. So the actual tournament entry is $10,000, but women are given a 90% discount.
Yes.
And so they pay $1,000 to enter it. I think that's a pretty good way of handling it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, no, Lorianne, please.
Yeah. No, I was going to say that I was surprised to see that it says $1,000 lady, because I thought in the previous couple of years it did say $10,000 Ladies No Limit Hold'em Championship. I thought that's what it said, and then if you read the print, it did say about the discount for ladies. I could be wrong. Is that right, Kevin, or no?
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, the official buy-in is $10,000, but again, like you mentioned, ladies pay the discount price, and again, that's another one of those things. Or sort of like, again, it's been a while since a man has entered the tournament, so I think they're just going with it's going to be $1,000, but it's sort of like it's if you look at this, when they put the structure sheets out, it will state the buy-in is $10,000, ladies pay discount price of $1,000.
Yep. And might encourage our gentlemen listeners, if this is an event you'd like to get involved with, I suggest maybe buying in a friend of yours who's a woman who would like to play. I'd love to see more ladies playing in this event, and there's lots of ways for guys to get involved and support the event without playing in it and being a dick about it. So
yeah, actually, you should buy in 10 women instead of playing the event yourself.
That's a great point. Yes, thank you, John. Well said.
Nice, John. Nice.
Yeah, John knows what's up. John knows what's up. Mrs. Somsky's a lucky woman. I think we all know that that's true. We've got another question here from Vader Poker. For satellites, can you register online like all the other events, or do you have to go in person to the cage?
You can register online for satellites. It's only on the day of the satellite, so it's not like if there's a satellite on June 15th, you can't register for that on the 13th. It's only going to be And that's also the case for daily deep stacks and satellites are only available online on that day.
All right, good one. We've got a question from Matt King. Kevin, can you back up so we can see what's on your shirt?
Oh, yes.
What do we got there?
It's,
Is this the...
Let me Google it. It's LMGTFY. Let me Google that.
Here, pull it up so we get it on camera. They thought it was the LMGTFY shirt. And there it is. Yeah, okay. There you go, Matt. You are correct.
Yes,
Matt,
you should get a prize.
Matt likes your shirt. Matt likes your shirt. And what is the advice? What is the advice?
Let me Google that for you. No, I'm saying Matt should get a prize for inquiring about the shirt.
That's amazing. Hey, Matt, I know you got that comment into the YouTube chat earlier. If you're still here, I hope you are, because you deserve that one. Great shout out. We got a question from oh yeah, sorry, go ahead, Kev.
No, I was just thanking Matt for commenting on my shirt.
Yeah, let me Google that for you. Is one of Kevin's canned responses when people ask him the most ridiculous and common questions that they could just Google themselves if they were so inclined. But yeah, well done. And Matt is here and he appreciates it. So yeah, good call, Matt. Way to grab that shirt reference. That's fantastic. Our own website, Mark Prashan says, do all satellites use the same structure? Are there structure sheets available somewhere? Are they turbos? Did the structure differ from satellite to satellite?
There are. It's basically, I would say yes. And I think what Mark should do is, if you go to WSOP.com/2024, they still have the satellites. There's a excuse me. There is a link for last year's satellites, and it's called an all-in-one sheet, and it'll show all the satellites that were available last year, and you can take a look at the various differences there were.
Nice.
And I would assume that's going to be the same. That will be the same case this year as well.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
It's not one structure fits all. It is going to vary by the price. There's going to be some events that are going to have a 30-minute. They'll have 30-minute levels. Some will have 20. Some will have 15. Again, it all depends on the event itself that you're buying into. All
right, fantastic. And next, we've got a couple $10,000 entry tournaments on the 26th of June. Event number 71 is the 10K Limit Deuce to 7 Lowball Triple Draw Championship. Follow that up on a little later that day. Actually, it's the same time, but this is a one-day tournament. Event number 72, the $10,000 Super Turbo Bounty No Limit Hold'em. It's 10 grand. It's eight-handed. It's a super turbo bounty. Kevin, what is the bounty on a $10,000?
It's $3,000 is the bounty.
3,000. So it's about a third, just as the other one. Yeah. Okay, that's very cool. And this is a one-day event for 10K. So it's gonna, like we said, for these super turbos, it's gonna move. You got to get your chips in the middle quick for these. So
it does. It is. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah, it is a one-day event, but it's going to go deep into the night usually. So,
yep.
But so
yeah, those are some.
Go deep. You're going to be there a while, even though it's 20-minute levels.
Great point. Yeah, people are going to be tightening up in those 10K events once you're in the money. Getting up those ladders matters a lot. On Friday the 27th, it's time for event 73, the 1500 8-game mix. And then we've got another Pot Limit Omaha Championship, event number 74. That's for $10,000. So a lot of these $10,000 entries, that's or you could go play the main event. Just saying, you do you. But if you like these mixed game events and get in there and play some Pot Limit Omaha, I can't blame you. And people do say that if you really want to win a bracelet, you got to play some of these mixed game events. The fields are smaller and the variance is lower. Unfortunately for me, you also have to be good at mixed games. So that's a bit of a disqualifier on my end. I'm going to stick to no limit hold'em. But for others that don't have that handicap, I do encourage you to give some of these a shot. On Sunday, June 29th, it's event number 75. That's the $1,000 mini main event. This is no limit hold'em. It's a multi-flight event. They call it the mini main, but the structure is not as generous as the main, to be honest. Kevin, gun to your head. What is it about this tournament that makes it the mini main? Is it just that it's before the main? And
it is the same structure as the main event, but it is 30-minute levels.
Okay. I see what you're doing there. This is the structure is the same, just the
it's just faster.
But the 2-hour levels is like the coolest thing about the main event. It's like, I guess it is mini. Okay, so the levels are mini and the buy-in's mini.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you that.
30 minutes is a mini 2 hours.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, instead of 2 hours, it could have been, if they dropped everything 90%, then you'd be playing like 12-minute levels.
That's a good point. Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants to play 12-minute levels live. No, I agree. People complain about it being slow. Imagine you're playing like five hands of level. If you're lucky.
Okay. You got me. All right, you got me. But it is cool. You start with 60,000 chips, and it does have a very deep structure. And again, it's a $1,000 bracelet event with multiple flights, and it's again just another way to get some great value while you're down in Las Vegas and competing in the WSOP. I love seeing these smaller buy-in events. Also on the 29th is event number 76. This is the 2,500 mixed big bet event. It sounds like another mixed game for our friends that want to get in there and mix it up. So good for them. And then event number 77, we are into another $10,000 seven-card stud high-low 8 or better championship. That's on Monday, June 30th. And then on Tuesday, July 1st, Canada Day, as it's known to the best and brightest around the world, is event number 78. That is the $600 Poker News Deep Stack Championship. I remember this one from last year as well. This is another deep stack. Kevin, there's the $600 deep stack that's on June 10th, I believe, and then this is the Poker News Deep Stack. I believe one of them has a slightly faster structure than the other. Am I making that up, or are they the same levels and the same?
This one has 40 and 60-minute levels.
Yes.
It is a little slower. And another point to know about this one is that for the daily deep stacks, they are sponsored by Poker News again, and they do have weekly leaderboards for the top 10 each week. From May 27th through June 30th, the top 10 will win an entry into the Poker News Deep Stack Championship. So,
that's cool. And those are weekly leaderboards, Kevin.
Yes, it's your best performances that week, and the top 10 will they'll win seats.
Right. They did that last year.
Yes.
I have to admit, I'm going to be torn between the 600 Deep Stack Championship and that 100K pot limit Omaha. That's a tough one for me there. That's a toss up. Which one, Rob? I don't know. I might have to up my bankroll to 350,500. So I don't know.
Lori, I want to see how you do in the 100K and the $250,000. That might make this decision a lot easier.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
I hear Jim's looking for horses this summer. So.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man,
what's that voice? Where's that coming from? No.
That's invisible producer Rob. He's laying down facts. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'm happy to announce that actually RecPoker is sponsoring Lori Persinger in the 100K High Roller Pot Limit Omaha tournament on July 1st on behalf of Canada Day. So yeah, congratulations, Lori. That's great.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate
so excited for you. Yeah, to chronicle your jersey.
That's going to be a really good investment right there. Really good.
RecPoker is only covering the first $5 of that.
Oh, it's
I should be clear. Yeah, I should be more clear.
There's always a caveat there somewhere. I got to read the very, very small print, huh? Okay.
The first 5 is the hardest 5, honestly, if you think about it. The remaining $999,995 really just kind of roll once you get once you get that started. Yeah. So congratulations in advance. No, I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Worst investment ever.
Hey, we don't know that.
I'm letting you know right now. Worst investment ever.
Now then I see event number 80. Now that we're into July, oh man, June is gone. It's no longer Canada Day. It's Wednesday, July 2nd. Event number 80 is the $800 Summer Celebration No Limit Hold'em. This is a multi-flight event. $800 to enter. You got to love that price point. Now, Kevin, was this the Independence Day tournament last year, and did they just change the name of it to Summer Celebration?
You nailed it.
All
You're
right,
correct.
my
Yes.
spidey senses were
I was
tingling.
gonna say that this was just renamed but you were thinking what I was thinking, and you said it. So congratulations.
Fantastic. Well, I really want to make a joke about the American political scene right here, but I'm not going to. So get in there. $800, event number 80, Summer Celebration, no limit hold'em. That's going to be super fun. And then it's a good thing we got that low buy-in event, because 81 and 82 are, again, $10,000 events. I'll start with 82. This is the 8-game mix on Wednesday, July 2nd, and another fantastic $10,000 mixed game event. But if you're not into mixed games, but you are into the biggest tournament of the year, that is event number 81. Flight A for the WSOP main event is on Wednesday, July 2nd at noon. This is where all the magic happens, folks. It's the tournament we all dream of playing. It's the tournament we all dream of winning. There are, I would say, hundreds of thousands of satellites and leagues and ways to get your ticket into the main event. It's a tournament like no other. It's got such an amazing variety of different skill levels. It's got the best players in the world, but it's also got just hundreds, thousands of people who have no business playing a $10,000 event. I've been one of them. You just win your way in. Yeah, Kevin, exactly. And it's there's nothing like it. There's nothing like playing in the WSOP main event. The 2-hour levels, the deep chip stacks, all the mystique and allure of a tournament like this. It sounds crazy, but I really do think people make a multi-year plan for yourself where you can put some money aside, study your butt off, find some folks to help you spread the cost of the ticket around. Do whatever you need to do, but it is an experience unlike any other, and I hope everyone gets a chance to play it once in their life. We've got a few panelists here that have had a chance to play. Yeah, Rob.
Everybody has this on their bucket list, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's a recreational player, anybody that's played poker at all at any seriousness has to know that this is a bucket list item, and it's the greatest experience you'll ever have playing poker. Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah. And Rob even got a chance to get quads in the main event and be on TV at the same time. That's pretty amazing. And Kevin, we were going to ask you about this at the end of the show, but you kind of segued to it here. Lorianne noticed when we were talking about having you on the show earlier that your greatest poker memory, you mentioned, was being bought into the main event from 2015. Is that right, Lorianne? Am I saying that correctly? Where did you find that awesome piece of trivia?
That is correct. I just looking online, trying to do a little bit of research, and I saw an interview. I think you did. It was back in 2021. I can't remember if it was Poker.org or Haley Hintz, and you were asked what was your favorite poker moment, and you said it was when the poker community bought you into the 2015 main event. And does that still hold true today? Is that still your favorite poker memory?
Yes, that definitely is. Now, I have played the main event 3 times, and the third time was 2015, and that was also the only time I actually made day 2. So one of the reasons why it's my greatest poker memory is that I did for day 2. I played. I played day 2C, and I did the shuffle up and deal for that.
Oh, cool.
So I was at the Rio, as people remember. So I was in the shuffle up and deal was in Brasilia. Now, unfortunately, my table was in Amazon, so I had to run from Brasilia to Amazon, and I missed the first hand. So they didn't hold up for me. They were ruthless. They just like that guy's not sitting there. He's not. You know what? First card off the deck, all that stuff. So yeah, I didn't get to play the first hand, but that was definitely. I played it 3 times. The first year, Jamie Kerstetter, who's my mortal enemy, she knocked me out of the event. with aces. Yeah, aces versus queen. My queens.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
she's
hurts.
also won 2 global poker awards that I feel I should have won, but I'm not holding a grudge.
No, it doesn't sound like it.
Apparently.
No, not at all. But
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
definitely, like you guys have said, definitely playing the main event one time is like pretty much the ultimate goal of everyone that has a relatively casual, even a casual interest in poker. If they watched on TV back in the early 2000s when they saw and they saw Chris Moneymaker win or Jerry Yang or all those they watched all those events on ESPN. That's like and that's why we saw these humongous fields, and we've seen the last few years over 10,000 players, and I think we'll see 10,000 players again this year. Basically with all the salaries that are going to be running, like you said, like there's like the various leagues that are going around, where it's like there's like a group of 30 people. They play a bunch of weekly. They play like a tournament a month, and they have a leaderboard, and the winner of the leaderboard gets to play the main event. So it's definitely the goal. It is like the one item that pretty much everyone wants to play one time at least. And Jim, you got to experience what a lot of people didn't get to do. Have never gotten to having a deep run in the main event. Getting all sorts of coverage. That I'm sure how how delighted you were to do that.
Oh man, it doesn't even feel real, to be honest with you. Even still, I think when I go back this year, it'll feel more real. I'm still just kind of pinching myself about it, to be honest with you. But trip of a lifetime.
Yeah, I'm just happy. There are 2 things now that I thought I would never ever see that have happened tonight. One of them, and they both ended up being the same thing. I have never heard anyone say a bad word about Jamie Kerstetter. And I have never heard Kevmath say a bad word about anyone. So to find out that Jamie Kerstetter is Kevmath's mortal enemy, just like it blows my mind.
Yeah,
yes,
it makes sense. It makes sense though. Yeah. I've seen her tweet. She can be mean.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm being very unserious, but I wish I'd won those. I wish I'd won once a Global Poker Award, but you know what? It is what it is. So I'm happy. She was definitely the deserving winner in those years. So I'm not gonna hold that much of a grudge, but still.
Well, tell you what, Kevin, out of solidarity, I won't share with our audience all the nasty stuff you said about Jamie before we went on the air.
Thank you.
I think that's out of respect. But
checks in the mail. Checks in the mail, Joe.
Yeah. and speaking of checks in the mail, Kevin, you mentioned it. Like I ran. Is it a deep run? I don't know if it's a deep run. I ended in 210th place.
That's deep. Top 2%. Come on.
Yeah, close. There was 10,112 entrants. I think I didn't quite make the top 2%, like 2.01% of something like that. So, but pretty close. And it just goes to show anybody can go deep in the main, gang. You've listened to me on the podcast. I'm not very good at this game, but get nines in against queens and spike a 9 every once in a while. You too can make it past dinner break on day 5, and I do recommend it. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, there's nothing like bagging the main event. That's like
that
was like my big goal was like I wanted to at least bag the main event one time.
Yeah,
and I did that. I didn't have a ton of chips, but I bagged, and that's all that mattered to me.
Yep. Oh, good for you, man. That's so cool. Like we all do kind of like wax rhapsodic about this kind of stuff, but it is a very special experience to play in the WSOP main. There's really nothing like it. I'm yet to bag more than starting stack on day 2. I've never made it to day 2 with more than starting stack. If I play this year, I'm very, very, very seriously considering playing again this year. I might just buy in on day 2. That's something you can do now. Yep. Plus, it'll get Norman Chad all upset, which is great. I love that. And it would be my first time playing day 2 with 60K.
There you
I
go.
think I've been there like 30 or 40K the last. I've only played it twice, but I don't have a great track record of getting to day 2 with chips. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, it seemed to work out for you last year, so
It
there's
did.
that.
It
Yeah, I was
did.
gonna say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still pretty. I'm still pretty excited about it.
I should be.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Well,
Oh,
if
man.
you had min cashed, you would have been happy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
If
Yeah.
you were the first player out in the money, you would have been happy.
It's true. Yep.
So,
But I wasn't, because I folded jacks to a single raise. I was like, nope. See you after the bubble, losers.
yeah, that's I mean, that's what you gotta do. So, I mean, it's definitely not I don't think that'll be RecPoker approved. But
Right.
I mean, it's like there's situations where, I mean, when as an employee of the Hidden Mob, you hope to one of the big goals is to get a flag, and so that was like it was a situation when I was playing the Hidden Mob Championship in Malta, and I had like a really good hand, and I folded in a spot where I probably shouldn't have near the money bubble, but I was thinking about getting the flag, and I didn't care if I min cash, I wanted the flag, and I got the flag, so I'm happy. But we all
that's it.
We all have our little goals. So like,
Yeah.
So, like I have relatively modest goals. I mean, like, we played the club, we're a thick brag, my cash in the club WPC Gold Championship. My goal was to min cash. And then I did better than that. So I got, I basically doubled the min cash, almost tripled the min cash. And that, I was just happy to get the min cash. I did better, fortunately, because because I hit a 1-outer when I was all in for my tournament life. But that was pretty cool for me to hit a 1-outer. So that's we all have little goals that everyone's not going to win the tournament. Only one person win the tournament. We all have you want to make them bag, make the money, make it a day 3, day 4, etc.
I agree 100%. That's how I was in the WPT. I just wanted to bag, to say I bagged the 10K. It was the first 10K I ever made. And then when there was a chance I knew I'd make the money, I was just like, okay, I was going to be perfectly happy with a min cash. And I really was. So yes, you're right. It just took it a day at a time.
Yep.
No, it's true. The first year I played the main, I had a series of goals. My first goal was just don't be the first player eliminated.
Yep. That's my goal too. Yep.
Right. Yep. And then it's like, okay, I don't want to bust in the first level. It's like, I want to make a break. It's like, I want to make dinner. And then it's like, yeah, I want to let's bag, because that just, there's nothing quite like your first WSOP bag. Like that is very, very, very cool. It is extremely cool. Yeah. All right.
One day I'll get there.
Yeah, damn right. My bucket list. I love it. Well, we spent a bit of time talking about it, but I won my way in my first year by playing in a satellite league with some friends, and we all chipped in, a grand, and we sent a couple people to the main and to some other events like that. When I played last year, I sold a ton of action. I sold like 70% of my action before I played, because that was how I could make it affordable for me to play. There's lots of different ways to get in there. It's not as unreachable as people think it is, and I really do encourage folks to think of it as something that you can accomplish, and not something that's just out there on a cloud that's always out of reach. It is something that you can do, and it is very, very cool and unique to be able to experience it. So recreational players, give it some thought. All right, we're getting into the end of it here, folks. If you're still with us, we are going to give away a free prize at the end of it's not a free prize, it's a fantastic prize. It's just you're not going to have to pay anything to win it. So stick around till the end of the show, because we are going to give away our prize like we always do. And let's just roll through some of these remaining events. We're going to get into event number 83. This is on July 3rd. It's the 2500 No Limit Hold'em Freeze Out, another great No Limit Hold'em Freeze Out event. On Friday, July 4th, which I understand is also a holiday for some of our American friends down there, there's the $1,000 No Limit Hold'em Now this one doesn't say a freeze out, and I'm not sure what are the buy-in options or the rebuy options for this one.
There's one re-entry in this event.
All right, and it's a 2-day event, so you'd be able to re-enter again on day 1 if you bust, and then day 2 you'll play down to a winner.
Yes.
Now, it's no Canada Day, but I understand that you guys have Independence Day or something like that. I believe it's on 4th.
Yeah.
You've heard of this quaint festival as well? Yes.
Well,
okay.
we get the blow up stuff too on the 4th.
Yes. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. So does the event on the day take an attendance hit because people are out there celebrating and blowing stuff up and drinking too much, or do you see a dip in attendance for those?
It definitely. I mean, I think when July 4th hits, definitely affects the main event. If you have it, they sort of like schedule around July 4th. Like you wouldn't have like day 1D be on July 4th.
I see.
But it's on the 5th this year. But because I mean, if you had on 1D, that would be just like that just wouldn't work. I think a lot of people like to celebrate the 4th of July.
Sure.
So that I don't think they would ever intentionally schedule the main event, the final flight of the main event, even though there is day 2 entry, but 1D is usually like the largest field of the 4.
Yes, that is historically how it goes. So here's event 84, a $1,000 no limit hold'em event. Then we are moving into the Ultra Stack. So this is an oldie but a goodie. This is event number 85. Flight A is on July 6th. It is what's the difference between a deep stack and an ultra stack, Kevin?
Just what they decide to name it, basically. It's kind of like it's basically the same. It's 60,000 chips, 40-minute levels. I don't know why maybe just don't want to run deep stack into the ground.
Sure.
Or it's called the ultra deep stack, or the super duper stack, or the super stack, or the almighty stack, the giant, the
almighty stack. Yeah,
the mighty stack. Yes, the mighty stack, or the humongous stack. I don't know. They just like to give it. They just like to mix it up a little and call it the ultra.
There you go. All right. Well, it is ultra value. It's another $600 entry, a multi-flight event. This one's got flight A and B, and so you can win a bracelet in WSOP event number 85 for $600 in the ultra stack. Is it an ultra bracelet, Kevin? Maybe that's what it is. The bracelet's like much bigger.
I think the only main event gets that blinged out, really blinged out. I mean, doing that same type of bracelet for the 600, I think that'd be a little bit of an overkill.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk. We'll talk after the show. Event number 86, $1,000 mystery bounty pot limit Omaha. So we got some more mixed games. It's a mixture of, it's a $1,000 price point. It's pot limit Omaha. It's a mystery bounty. That one's going to be a really fun tournament, I bet.
Yes.
And then event number 88 is the $50,000 high roller no limit hold'em. So if Rob and Lori have done well in some of their earlier tournaments that year, I think Chris Jones was also involved in one of those 100Ks. So you never know. There's a lot of RecPoker members that could.
Usually it's one player per stack, but maybe they'll make an exception.
I think that seems like the kind of reasonable thing that the WSOP would do. We would just write a nice letter explaining the situation. Okay, let's get on that.
I should note you did skip event 80. I hope event 87 is on the tournaments page.
Let me see. Event it is. Oh, the super turby, why am I having trouble with that one so much? This is the event number 87, the super turbo bounty no limit hold, and this is the $5,000 version. So we've seen 1,500, we've seen 10,000. Now this is $5,000 super turbo bounty. That is cool.
And this is one of the new events for 2025. This particular price point. They've had 1,510Ks in the past, but now there's one in the middle.
Nice. Oh, you love it. There's going to be. I do say, I do really like the kind of just get it in nature of these super turbo bounties, and they really. It's not just the turbo format, but also the bounty format really does just incentivize people to just get it in there. And I do kind of love that. Now let's get into event number 89. This is the $3,000 mid-stakes championship, no limit hold'em. This is another multi-flight event. This one is $3,000. And I mean, are they just running out of creative names here? The mid-stakes, they've already reused the deep stack. They're using the ultra stack. There are other $3,000 tournaments that are not called the mid-stakes championship. Why is this one called the mid-stakes championship, Kevin?
That's a good question. But I mean, it is like, I don't think there's, I can't remember off the top, but I don't think there's a $3,000 full ring. So, and this is the second year they've done a mid-stakes event. Not to compare to the mid-states poker tour, of course.
Yes, that's right.
So.
All right, and then this one's a fun one. Event number 90 on the 10th. 777 is the $777 Lucky Sevens no limit hold'em. It's another multi-flight event. Again, pretty hard to argue with winning a bracelet for $777. Did 888 not sponsor this last year, and that's why it's not the $888 event?
Yeah, I think. I don't think it's a partner anymore with the WSOP. So yeah, I think they've had the 777 for a while. It used to be the Lucky Eights,
yes,
like you mentioned, but now it's 777. So
yeah,
and we just need to find someone to sponsor that. But and an important thing to note, the Lucky Sevens is unlimited reentry in each flight. So
okay,
if you've got a lot, if you have like a bunch of money left over from doing well in the main or in the 50K high roller or the 250K, you can play you can fire unlimited bullets in the 777.
That's right. It's all about budgeting. I will say I'm surprised they don't have that event as event number 77.
Yes,
yeah,
it's kind of weird. There's like opportunities there that they could do.
It's true.
It seemed like that would just be an obvious thing to have.
Yeah, I agree.
Missed opportunity. They do like having it at the end. This tournament has been near the end of the series every year. So that must have something to do with it. But yeah, missed opportunity is exactly right. Event number 91 is the 1500 pot limit Omaha 6-handed. Another one for our mixed game friends out there. Event number, let me see. We got a couple flights coming up here. Oh, this one's super cool. Event number 92, the Poker Hall of Fame Bounty. So it costs $1,979 because the Hall of Fame was started in 1979. And I think this is one of the coolest things about this is that if you are a member of the Poker Hall of Fame, I believe you get comped an entry into this tournament.
That is correct.
So you don't have to pay to enter it. And they have a bounty on everyone who's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And the amount that you win if you bust them equals the year that they were inducted into the Hall of Fame. So if they were inducted in 1985, the bounty you would win would be $1,985. If they were inducted in the year 2000, you would be a $2,000 bounty that you win from them. So I just think, what a fun concept! What a cool idea! What a great way to get some of the most fun and famous people in poker involved in a table where, again, you can win a bracelet for less than $2,000. Like, I do think that is a really cool event.
And as we're, it should be noted that we'll assume, it's happened in the past, is that the Poker Hall of Fame and that year's Poker Hall of Fame inductee is entered in that that day. So they announced the Poker Hall of Fame winner that day. Hopefully, I was hoping in the coming years it's more than one person a year. But
yeah, we were talking about that. We were talking about that with Kathy Liebert a few weeks ago. That they need to kind of open up the doors to let a few more people into the Poker Hall of Fame. The game has grown so much. There's so many wonderful contributors that not enough people that deserve that recognition are getting it, and that's only going to get worse as the years go on. So I'm with you, Kevin. I hope that they make that
a huge backlog.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's definitely. I mean, the situation where it's basically could be between Scott Seaver and Nick Schulman.
Right.
because they both
Right.
turned 40. And I know there's the recent passing of John Cernuto. People have been suggesting that he should get into the Poker Hall of
Yep.
Fame. And so it's like you really can't do one a year. It's just causes so many problems, and it's just you shouldn't narrow it to one person. You should, however many people get, if they do the same process they've done in the past, have the Poker Hall of Fame members vote for the Poker Hall of Fame, and they should do more than one. But I don't know. It's another one of those things where it's like, some people are stuck in their ways, unfortunately.
Yep, it's true. I like that, but it is a very cool. I haven't played in this event, but I'd like to, and it is such a cool idea. So good for them for having it. Comment from Tina in the YouTube chat about the Lucky Sevens No Limit Hold'em tournament. They could have done it on July 7th. That's true. That'd be 7-7, right? Another missed opportunity.
That's right.
Thank you.
Hey,
Tina.
good call, Tina.
Yeah,
Hey.
Tina knows what's up.
Yeah, Tina's in my poker league. Which
right on.
do. So welcome to the show, Tina. I mentioned
Nice.
we played this weekend, and I mentioned that hey, if you guys aren't doing anything at 4:30 Pacific time on Monday, please tune in. So thanks for tuning in, Tina.
Yeah, welcome to.
You've been here all 2.5 hours. Thank you.
Yes.
That's right. We are getting close to the end here. It's true. We knew this was going to be a marathon.
This is definitely the longest one so far.
Yeah.
We're almost there, folks.
Well,
we're gonna get.
We are. We're gonna give away a fantastic prize really soon, I promise. And way to go, Tina. Yeah, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you, Tina.
Event number 93. Now it's Torse time.
Yes.
This is the $3,000 Torse tournament, which we talked about a little earlier. Then we get on to event number 94 on Saturday, July 12th. This is the $10,000 No Limit Hold'em Championship, 6-handed. And then on July 13th, we get back into the rec-friendly pool, an $800 No Limit Hold'em deep stack. So we're back to deep stacks, Kevin.
Yes, there's a lot of deep stacks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of deep
This
stacks.
one's not ultra. This isn't like a fab stack. It's not a. Okay, but $800, event number 95 on July 13th. If you're there, that would be a hard one to pass up. And then event number 96, the $3,000 pot limit Omaha 6-handed. Another fantastic mixed game for our mixed game friends. And then we're really in the home stretch now. When they start calling events the closer, you're getting close to the end. So this is event number 97 of 100.
But it's not the closer. How
It's
is
not-
the closer not the closer? Okay.
That's a good point.
I'm like,
That's a good point.
how is the closer not the closer? Come on.
Yeah,
people.
Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. Why is this called the closer?
That's a good question. It's the closer of the multi-fly events, though.
Right.
Oh,
But that traditionally kind of been the last event, thus the name the closer. So
yes, I agree.
So it should be called kind of the closer, or I don't know.
Closest.
Yeah. Maybe we're just pronouncing it wrong, and it's the closer because it's closer to the end of the tournament series.
There you go.
There's some confusion. There's some confusion
well done,
there. I
Jim.
think.
Well done.
I knew we could get it. We could crack the code if we put our heads together. The event number 90. Oh, that's a good comment from Evil Roy Slade. That's our man Dave Westerveld in the YouTube chat. Says that it's the last one to finish. Likely that makes sense. If all the other ones are like 1 days, and but no, because the event 98, the High Roller Horse, is a 3-day, and so it's going to finish later. So yeah, sorry, Dave. I like the way you think, but no,
well, I'll be in that one too.
Yeah, exactly.
I am swinging for the fences this year.
Do it. This is going to be a big year for you, Lorianne. I'm very excited for this. And Phil says Jim has had relationships that haven't lasted as long as this episode. Okay, like our friendship, Phil, it's over. Okay,
Phil.
That's it. Burn, sick burn.
That's kind of harsh, Phil.
Yeah, Phil. God, what a dick. All right, now event number 99, the 5,000 No Limit Hold'em 8-handed. Again, just one more chance to throw $5,000 at a bracelet because you're running out of time. Because the last one is on Wednesday, July 16th. The event number 100. This is a 1,000 Super Turbo No Limit Hold'em. So no bounty for this one, but It's your last chance. It's a one-day event. It's on Wednesday, July 16th. And for $1,000, you could win the very last WSOP bracelet that's awarded in 2025. So pretty exciting.
I would think this will be the last one to actually finish.
Yes, although, I think you're right.
The closer relatively fast on day 2, so that'll probably finish. I would assume of all the events, the closer will finish first, then maybe the main event, because the main event that'll be free-handed. It sort of depends. If one person has a big stack, then they'll just knock the other 2 out. Also, the 5K A-handed is also on the 16th, and then also 5K the Super Turbo bounty. No, I'm sorry, the Super Turbo. There's no bounty, like you said, Jim.
Yeah,
the Super Turbo will be the actual last event to finish at the 2025 WSOP.
Well, it says the high roller scheduled for 3 days, so wouldn't that be
right? 14, that's
14, 15 seconds.
You're right.
I can't count. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're fair. The horse will finish somewhere in the middle.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's hard to believe. So that's it, folks. 100 tournaments. We've hit every single one of them. We've had something to say for every single one of these tournaments. I hope that we've managed to create some excitement, talk about kind of some of the stuff that we've really enjoyed, some of the stuff that we're looking forward to, some of the new wrinkles. If anyone has any last minute questions for Kevin, get him in the YouTube chat. He's been very generous with his time, but we can keep him for a few minutes longer. I know he's such a friendly guy. He won't mind. And you don't get a lot of opportunity. Don't believe the lies, he says. There was a couple things that just generally speaking about the structure that we haven't gotten into yet. So one, I don't know how I feel. I've got all sorts of feelings. I'm complicated feelings about this one. My first cash ever in the World Series of Poker was in a kind of ridiculous tournament that they don't have anymore called the Flip and Go. Kevin, you remember, you were in the room. Yep. And I had told Kevin I was going to go play in the Flip and Go. I'd done pretty well on the cash tables and I had $1,000. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna play in the Flip and Go. And I walked up to Kevin and I was like, okay, I'm really going to do it. I'm going to walk over here and do it. He's like, okay, good luck. And so I walked over. If folks don't know, the way that they used to do it was pineapple. It was open face first. So you got dealt 3 cards, then you see a flop, then you give up one of your cards.
Yep.
And then that's it. There's no betting. It's just like you're all in pre-flop, but you get a chance to look at the deck, look at the flop, and then choose to remove one of your cards, discard. So in my case, the 3 cards that I had were 9, 10, Jack offsuit, which is a pretty good starting hand. And the board came 9, 10, 10. So it was a pretty easy decision for me to just go with the flopped full house and see. But the other players were not drawing dead. Someone was in there with a pocket pair. I think they had pocket kings. And so if a king came, they would have made a bigger full house. But I did win. I won my flip, and I walked over to Kevin, and Kevin was standing there. And I guess I didn't look very excited because I walked over, and Kevin was like, "Oh, too bad, man. Like, 1 in 10 chance. Like, it's not very likely." I was like, "Oh no, I won it." I remember. I was like, I got to work on my excited face, I guess, a little here. Yeah, and I ended up.
You're just a seasoned veteran, and so the ups and downs of poker don't affect you like they do some of us other recreational players.
That's right.
I thought he just had resting disappointment face.
Yes. Jim is going to be the person to pull the $1 million bounty and then worry about if he missed his big blind. So
yeah, that's right.
Have to get back to the table. Mr. Big Blind.
It was a very cool tournament. Like once you flip through, you're already in the money. And David Williams was at my table, and I think he had bought in like 21 times or something. He had to make 4th in order to get his money back on it. And it's actually my deepest run in a bracelet event. I took 55th place in that one, which is pretty cool. I was thinking of Chris Jones at the time for 55, getting it in there for the big guy. But yeah, it is a very gimmicky tournament, and I'm not sad to see that they've gotten rid of it, because it's like, do I need to get an asterisk on the first time I do everything around here? My first bronze rec poker pin is an asterisk. My first silver rec poker pin's an asterisk. Now my first WSOP cash is in a tournament so gimmicky they don't even do it anymore. Give me a break, man. But so they don't have that anymore, eh, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I was surprised that the flip and go, because GG Poker did buy the WSOP. And
Yeah,
you sort of figure they would at least, I would have thought they would have done two flip and goes this year, but
Yeah.
they did that during zero. I think the interest kind of is faded over the past couple of years, so I think that's why they just decided not to have it this year. But yeah, I mean, maybe it'd be better if they did, sort of get like recreational with fire if it was 500 and 7,000. But like you said, you did on one, but you won on one. You on your first attempt. And David Williams took 20. I think Scott Seaver did over 30 and didn't win.
He's got the record, I think. Yeah,
I think he has the record, and he didn't make day two. He didn't get to play the go part. He just got to play.
That's so crazy.
And it's kind of hard to lose 30 flips in a row. So it's I mean that should get its own asterisk. I would.
It's true.
But I mean, I don't know, maybe it'll come back next year, or just so. I mean, and another thing is like I think a lot of people were worried that they were just going to flood this series of bracelet events. I mean, I think 100 at this point is like the cap. I would think.
Yeah, I expect they'll stick at 100 for a while now. That would be my guess.
I would think so too. But it's sort of, I mean, they've always had this idea of breaking records every year, and one of the ways to do that is have more events. So, again, in the poker, if people go to Poker Fuse, that's Poker Fuse, not Poker News. Poker Fuse, they did a pretty good breakdown of all the events, and the average buy-in is actually a little higher this year. I think the average buy-in this year is just over 10K.
Wow.
We're seeing more events hit that, that 10K, 25K, 50K, 100K, 100K PLO. Excuse me, 100K PLO is a new event, so that sort of helps skew the average a bit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I did notice that. And
like you've mentioned many times, it is the one great thing about the WSP is that there are so many different price points. People are going to play. There's going to be people that are going to play the 1Ks and under. There's going to be people that play the 1500s. There's going to be people playing the 5Ks. There will be people playing the 10Ks and up. And I'm sure there'll be people that are just going to play the 100K and 250K, like Lori.
Yes, the Lorianne Persingers of the world, the Rob Washington.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
I'm a baller. What can I say?
Hey, Kevin, I know there's usually a lag time, but do they kind of have a target for when the online series will be announced, or we'll start to get details on that?
That's a really good question. I think last year the issue, because it came out the week before the WSOP, and I think the reason last year was because they were sort of combining, they were combining Nevada, Michigan, and New Jersey. Now Pennsylvania has agreed to join the multi-state internet gaming agreement, but we don't know when. I think if Pennsylvania gets in, everything gets done, they're going to wait till they are officially approved, so they'll have 4 states instead of having 3 states with online. Have one set of events for those 3 states, then one for Pennsylvania. I think they would rather have all 4 states together doing online bracelet events. So I think that's what they're kind of waiting for at this moment.
All right, good answer. Folks, we're going to wrap up the interview with Kevin here in just a minute. So this is your absolute last chance to get any questions in. We're also, I mentioned at the top of the show, we're a largely volunteer-based organization. So if folks want to help out what we're doing, if you go to rec.poker/support, you can find a bunch of ways to help us out without spending $1 by subscribing to things, liking things, sharing things. There's lots of ways to help us out. And of course, there's also, we'll take your dollars. There are some opportunities to spend some dollars to help us out there as well. So please, if you're interested in supporting what we're doing, go to rec.poker/support. You'll find some great ways to do that. I guess so the last things I wanted to talk about with regard to the schedule today is there was a great tweet out by a guest on the show a little while ago, Blaise Bourgeois, talking about the rake increases. And I think it's natural as time goes on, everything gets more expensive. Inflation's a thing. I noticed that the rake has gone up in several of the events that are on the schedule this year. And Kevin, I'm not going to ask you to like speak to why that is or anything like that. That's not a decision that you're part of the committee for, I'm sure. But one thing that I did notice that kind of gave me some pause is that most of the events with the rake increase are sub $1,000 entry events. So they're the events that are most likely to be played by recreational players, the 600, the 400, the 500, the $800 events. And it does feel like this is not a rec friendly move because recreational players, they're the least savvy when it comes to analyzing rake structures. They're the ones that are least likely to notice that the rake's gone up this year. They're the ones that, I don't know. I'm disappointed that if they had to raise rake, I guess I kind of wish that they had sort of done it on a more uniform way and spread it out amongst all the different buy-ins. Is there, and you don't have to answer this, but like, is there a reason why the lower buy-in events are the ones that got hit by the rake increase?
I don't have, I honestly, I wish I had an answer for you. I don't know why, but I mean, there's sort of like, as people have mentioned, it's like there's a certain point where people are just going to stop playing events. Enough people who are looking at structure sheets, they are looking at seeing how much is actually going into the prize pool. And they're going to, they will not play. They won't play. They'll play elsewhere. And that's one of the great things about Vegas in the summer. There's so many card rooms that are offering different events, and you can shop around. Now, of course, there's going to be people that are going to be playing for the bracelet. No, they'll play for a bracelet no matter what, and they don't. But like it's there's a point where they can't do more. They can't go if they went like the 300, like if the Gladiators went to 20%, is that going to, it's 18, it's this year it's 18%. If they got to 20 and higher, that's going to be, very, you would sort of expect numbers to start falling and, people recognizing, you're basically giving away $60 to, it is going to tournament staff, it's going to dealers, but it's sort of, it's also going to GG Poker. And people have issues, they don't like GG Poker, they don't like the WSOP, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like, there's a point where they can't keep raising the rake. And it's sort of like, we don't know when that is. If people keep playing, that it sort of gives the incentive. It's like, when will they stop playing? We sort of don't know yet. But it's, like you said, it's like, it's pretty much, I think it's, actually, I think like the rake is for 1Ks, it's actually, it's the same as last year, but, pretty much all the events below that, it went up 0.5%.
Yeah, and it is a reality. The price of poker is going to go up. They don't offer 1-2 a lot of places. It's 1-3 now. Like it's just as things get more expensive. I do like to expect that poker is going to get more expensive too.
Well, just as a side note, the lower buy-in tournaments are going to make less money for the casino.
Yes,
because you need so many dealers and a percentage, 5% of $1,000 is a lot less to put on a tournament than 5% of 10,000 or whatever. So from that perspective, it's somewhat inevitable as well.
Yeah, and the dealers cost the same, like whether it's a $1,000 entry or a $10,000 entry, you need the same staff costs, the same, a lot of the costs are fixed for that. So, and I do take that point. That is a good point, John. So yeah, that was the only thing that kind of jumped out at me was I'm always looking at how can we make these events more recreational friendly? How can we, attract more players at these lower buy-ins to the game? And it's a very exciting time of year. Like I know I'm pretty stoked, man. I can't wait for June to be here, and it's not just because it's my birthday and objectively the best month of the year. That does factor in, but no, I'm pretty freaking stoked about that. We've got one more comment in the YouTube chat. This is from longtime premium member Eric Anderson, who says, "Kevin, we missed you in the home games." And yeah, that's right. It's you've made some real friends here, I think, over the years, Kevin. It's great that we get a chance to have you back and talk to you like this.
Yeah, and it's been quite a while since I played the Open. And I think there's actually there's an Open tomorrow, if I recall.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, good memory.
Will,
a Tuesday night online plane hang. Yeah.
Yes, I will have to try. I will try my best. I'm actually going to play. My plan is to play the 1 o'clock daily at the Aria.
Nice.
So I will hopefully be still in that tournament when the Opa's running. But if not, I can't. I won't make a guarantee. But I will try my best to be part of the Opa crew, like the old days.
That's so wonderful. Yeah, well, I hope. Hey, listen, I hope you're running deep and can't make it, but it's a great consolation prize. If things don't go your way, I'll see you tomorrow night. That sounds fantastic.
All right, and I'm sure we'll get together before the series starts. We'll catch up on stuff, and we'll have more details about registration and all the stuff that's kind of like we don't really know. I mean, we kind of know, but we don't really know.
Yeah.
So hopefully. Hopefully it won't be 2.5 hours, but I think we'll catch up. And,
yeah.
We'll have more information, so that would be ideal for the for those that are that like to listen to the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let me see. Kevin, we're gonna just give away a prize. We're gonna announce some recent home game winners. You're welcome to stick around for a few more minutes while we do that, but I know you've got a lot on your plate down in Vegas on your first night. So if you have to dash, we get that. Again, at Kevmath is the best place to find this fine upstanding gentleman and give him give him the opportunity to help you out in the poker world. So let's just like say, hey, maybe he can Google something for you. You never know. He's very accommodating. I will say that. All right. Well, Kevin, this was a real pleasure, man. I'm so glad. And then, as you say, once we get a little closer to the series, we'll have Kevin back, and we'll be able to sort of, in less than 2.5 hours, we'll talk about some of the other details about getting everything ready this year and tips for making your first trip down. I'm already looking forward to that. Thank you again, Kevin.
Thank you. And it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you and Lori and other people on the RecPoker team at the WSOP this year.
Yeah, count on it, man. Well, now I feel like I'm as prepared as I need to be. I can't wait.
I hope so.
All right. Now, speaking of big
Been
wins,
a pleasure.
Yeah, no, he's the best. I love Kevin. He's got such a good heart, and he really does just like want to make the poker world a better place. He's such a great fit. When he joined the RECing Crew, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, these are the kind of people that we need to surround ourselves with.
And especially because he said he's playing tomorrow. So now I'm even more bummed. I'll talk to you afterwards. But I can't, I think it's operator error. I can't get my Poker Stars thing going or whatever. So I can play the game. So obviously something on my end I am not doing right. And I can't figure out what it is. So
we're gonna have to fly John Somsky down there first class.
Can they access it in Nevada?
Yeah. Oh yeah, good question.
You can, but you have to download the special play money version.
That's what I thought I was doing. So I said, maybe I was like, it's because it did say something about it did mention about me being in Nevada. So it did know. And I said, yes. And I thought I clicked on the play money version. So like I said, it was probably operator error. So I'll try it again.
The only way I've found that works is to physically or virtually be in a different location. So you have to, what I usually do is use a VPN to download the software. Don't play on the VPN because you don't want to get in hot water with Poker Stars, but use a VPN to download and install the software. And do it from a place that doesn't support real money poker with Poker Stars.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Because I was just trying to do it on my home computer. Because that's not like I'm gonna do it on my phone or anything. Because it's on. Because I'm home on Tuesday night, so I wanted to, like I said, join in the home games, get my butt kicked over there. So take it for the team. No.
And if folks, if you're on the RecPoker website and there's a search function up at the top, if you search VPN, one of the forum posts will come up that John Somsky's curated from a couple years ago that goes over all the ways that you can download the PokerStars client with a VPN without contradicting their terms of service. It's perfectly allowed. It's not against any rules. The only thing that you're not allowed to do is to play poker while using a VPN. So it's completely legal and acceptable, and everyone has no problem with it. If you go, you can use a VPN to download the Play Money client, and then you can play it on your own computer in the way that you would normally. So so kudos to John Somsky and for a few other RecPoker members who helped kind of figuring out exactly the right settings to get and how to make that happen. So just search VPN. We're a pretty wholesome group. There's only one forum post that comes up with the letters VPN in them, and it's how to do this while still being on the right side of the law in terms of service there.
Okay, well, thank you. So it's not completely operator error, but mostly 80-20. Okay,
that's right. Whatever makes you feel better, Lorianne.
Okay. That makes me feel a lot better.
So a couple more things we should get to here. I see we've got a bunch of people entering our food bank raffle. I just want to point out that the reason we do this raffle on the show every week is not only because we love giving away great prizes, but we also really enjoy supporting local food banks. And it's just a very difficult time in the world right now. People need help more than ever. And if you just pull out, I encourage everyone, if you're listening at home, if you're watching us live, just pull out your smartphone and Google food banks near me, and you'll find an organization that could really benefit from a few dollars out of your wallet, a few volunteer hours out of your week, or some non-perishable food items from your pantry. So I'd encourage people to do that. It's a great way to make the world a better place. It's a great way to help out your fellow humans is by supporting a local food bank. And if you just type the words food bank into our YouTube chat here, you're going to be entered into a raffle in just a minute here where we'll give away a fantastic prize. John Somsky, why don't you share some recent home game winners, and then Rob Washam, you can tell our contestants what prize they might be able to win tonight in our raffle. John Somsky.
All right. We had our mixed game championship series. This is held on the second Wednesday of every month, and we keep track of points for who wins the Player of the Year series. And it was no limit deuce to 7 single draw this month. And Maddie Bumpo, Kathleen Twomey, got her first mixed game championship. Don't Chase 666, Joseph Armstrong still maintains the Player of the Year points race. Then on February 10th, Pokerloon 91 won his or her very first daily TOC victory. So they won a silver pin, no asterisks involved. Shamu Star 27-140, Roger Lamp got his first nightly victory of the year. Roadstar 33 got his second nightly victory of the year. Rabman 50, Rob Washington got his third nightly victory of the year. Then Roadstar 33. Okay, the first one was really Roadstar's first victory. This one is Roadstar's second victory of the year. Jay Sedham, Jeff S. got his third nightly victory for the year.
Nice.
Duck and Run, Michael Savage won the 8 a.m. Central Time international event. And now you said it, Joe won the second one for his first international victory for the year. And Johnny Quarto won the LPP event. So, Johnny, you can contact info@rec.poker for your free month at Learn Pro Poker.
That's right, Johnny. Send that email, info@rec.poker. You're going to win a month at Learn Pro Poker. It was our first learning partner back in the day. And Ryan LaPlante and the whole crew over there at Learn Pro Poker have been great friends to the show for a long time. So we're happy to be able to give away a free month of membership there every week in our Play Money home game. Now, Rob Washam, you are the Santa Claus of Rec Poker. You've got that big gift bag full of prizes that we give away every week on the show. Why don't you tell our YouTube audience what is available in our raffle tonight?
Oh, I thought it was because I have a white beard.
It could be more than one thing. There can be a lot of different reasons.
Well, now that the WSOP schedule is out, it's time to start getting your game ready. And pokercoaching.com offers a 3-day trial. So they have hand quizzes, video classes, and tournament masterclass, an advanced tournament course, and much, much more. So let's get ready to crush the WSOP. Go to rec.poker, resources, learning partners to get started. And we're going to be giving away a month of pokercoaching.com to one lucky winner tonight.
Fantastic. Yeah. So the last thing I want to mention before we give away our fantastic prize is a big shout out to Dan Kennedy. So Dan got a thank you last week because he donated to our food bank drive in Minnesota at the Rec Poker weekend at Running Aces a couple weeks ago, and we had a great time. Got to play some poker together. It was awesome fun. And it was just priming the pump because Dan won. He took first place in, I believe it was the Canterbury Winter Classic or something like that, for $25,000 plus $15,000 worth of bounties. So I'm pretty sure that's a new high score for Mr. Kennedy. But congratulations to Dan. Huge, great. And Dan's like, this whole past year has been an ascent into the poker world's Illuminati, the glitterati here for Dan. This is the first year that he's built his own bankroll. This has been the first year that he has been just making deep run after deep run. He's been playing on Global. He's been rocking their gold coin merch. He's been just doing really, really well. And Dan, just from everyone at Rec Poker, we're really proud of you, man. You've put in the time. You've been disciplined with your bankroll. You've been disciplined with your study time. You haven't been disciplined with the amount you drink and the volume that you use at the tables, but that's okay because you're kicking ass, and we're so glad that you're part of the team here. And congratulations on a really.
Jim, are you saying
he can't be perfect?
Are you saying that if you donate to the food bank, you're going to start running pure? Is that a thing?
I'm not saying that, Rob.
Okay,
Rob, I was going to ask the same question. What was the buy-in for that tournament? And was it a mystery bounty or a straight bounty?
It was like a $300 buy-in, but
yeah,
multiple flight.
Yeah, 400, something like that.
300 or 400, something like that. Multiple flights. There's like 4 or 5 flights.
Very, very nice.
But we also need to mention that his PokerStars name is Spot Conlon, and under that name, he actually won the first gold pin ever.
True.
Rec Poker history.
With no asterisks?
No asterisk.
Not a single asterisk.
Free and clear. Okay.
Rub it in, Lori.
No. I don't have any pins, asterisks or not. So hey,
Well, you're gonna get on the VPN.
Shit, but no.
We're gonna turn that around. We're gonna turn that around this year.
I mean, as you can tell, Jim won during the steroid era. It's really obvious.
It's true. Yeah, right. I got a few of these back when no one else was showing up to play in the events. I will say that's true. That's why the asterisk is so important. It's about game selection, Rob. Yes. If you play in asterisk events, that's game selection. Is how
you got me. You got me. That's a good point.
John Somsky, you had something there, I think, or was it about Dan Kennedy, or did I just roll right over you?
I was going to make some smart ass comment, but the time has passed.
Hey, I was going to say, join the club. I think.
All right. Well, speaking of Running Aces, I just want to give them one more plug. In April, the MSPT is coming to town. They're doing a whole series of events at Running Aces. And if you go to runaces.com, you can find out more details about their calendar of daily, weekly, monthly poker events. And like I say, this fantastic MSPT series that's coming. They even give out trophies. From what I understand, someone in our YouTube chat has even won an MSPT trophy, and we'll never let anyone else hear the end of it. So congratulations to that unnamed miscreant.
Is that the same person that's going to win 98 bracelets this summer? Any
asterisk. Asterisk. Yes, exactly. All right. Well, gang, we did it. We're coming in just a shade under 3 hours. Well done, everybody. Let's give away a fantastic prize and roll on out of here. Rob Gardner, why don't you pull up the wheel of fame and fortune, and who is our winner this week? You're going to win a free month at pokercoaching.com, and just in time with, oh God, no. All right, here we go. I was worried for a second there, but we bamboozled Phil. Stuart Carriage, no stranger to the winner's circle here. One of the poker friends forever, a longtime RecPoker Premium member, a good buddy of mine. And Stuart also had a pretty decent run recently on his own international poker travels. So congratulations, Stu. Way to go. And I hope you enjoy your free month of poker coaching at pokercoaching.com. Please send an email to info@rec.poker, and our Rec Poker Santa, Rob Washam, will take care of you and award you that fantastic prize. Also looking forward to seeing you in Ireland, my man. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yes, Phil, you were bamboozled. We did it on purpose. It's all you're the victim of a vast conspiracy. You got us. You got us.
Bamboozled. Yeah. Okay.
Bamboozled.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we did it. Does anyone have anything else to add? Can we get out of here in less than 3 hours? We just might. All right. Well, thank you to Kevin Mathers, Chris Jones, John Somsky, Rob Gardner, Rob Washam, and Lorianne Persinger for all their contributions and valuable insights tonight. Thanks to everyone in the YouTube chat, especially our new members. Thanks for joining us and kicking along. Thanks to the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, Casino. Thanks to you, listeners at home. See you next week on the RecPoker Podcast.
I'm going to bed now. No, I'm kidding.
Get out of here.
Peace, everybody.